week at Steel City, Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Dean Wilson earned his first AMA title with a dominating 1-1 overall win.
This is just unbelievable and the best feeling ever, and I hope this isn't the last one because it just feels way too good. Thank you, everybody. As
the series heads back to California for the season finale, only the 450 title is left to be settled. Suzuki's Ryan Dungey is down to the final two motos in a last-ditch effort to repeat as series champion. He has spent the past 4 months battling disappointment.
Ryan Dungey has a big lead here late in the second moto, but he is slowing dramatically and I believe coming to a stop. Jeff Emig, it's over.
Persevering through unforeseen trouble.
And Dungey just no team, no bike,
and at times being the most dominant rider on the track.
And Dungey launching and then landing in those ruts. He is putting on a full sprint.
But through 11 rounds, Dungey is still second best.
Now Villopoto's on the right side where he was on the left earlier. He's going to go for it and take the lead and the win in the last corner.
Kawasaki's Ryan Villopoto stands on the cusp of his first 450 title. It's the championship he was supposed to win 2 years ago. 3 straight titles in the 250 class made him a favorite on 450s, until 2 seasons worth of injuries left him on the sidelines. Today, Ryan Villopoto can fulfill all that promise and claim the 450 championship. It's the Battle of the Ryans, Part 12, and it's coming to you live from Pala Raceway, right here on Fuel TV.
We're just outside of San Diego, California for the final round of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. It's the Traxxas Pala National. Dean Wilson has already claimed the 250 championship in this series. Clinched it last week at Steel City, got to celebrate with his team. But there is still a lot on the line for that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki squad. And we'll talk about that here as myself, Jason Wygant, and 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig welcome you to Pala Raceway live on Fuel TV. Domination so far this year for the Pro Circuit team. They've won 11 of 11 rounds. They're looking to make it a perfect season if they can take the win today, and they already have the championship with Wilson. What more can you say about this squad? They've been on fire all year long.
Yeah, they have definitely been the dominant force this year. But you go all the way back to 1991 when Mitch Payton first developed his race team. And from the first year, there was a culture of winning. And anybody that's been in that position, you know that winning, that's what it's all about. And that team and every individual there is expected to pull their weight and to give it their very best effort. And that's why you've seen 3 of their 4 riders this summer were battling for the championship. So just exceptional effort, just a great team effort right there.
Yeah, so Rattray and Baggett, that's Wilson's teammates, they are still battling for second in the series. Nothing to worry about for Wilson. He's got it locked up. And this week he finally gets to celebrate with his parents, who were not there when he clinched the title last week.
Yeah, the phone call when I called my mom and dad, it was actually quite emotional. I mean, I really wanted them to be there, obviously. And, you know, you always think of your first championship, your mom and dad and your whole family and crews there, but they weren't quite there because I wasn't honestly expecting to wrap up a championship at Steel City.
I'm really proud of him and really happy for him. You know, like him and his whole family worked really hard to accomplish this, you know, and they moved from Scotland to Canada and then Canada down here to race amateurs and then to come to our program. It's been really great. And, you know, it's for him, it's obviously it's a dream come true. So, and I don't think it's the last one he'll win. So I'm really happy for him. But I'm also really happy for the other guys. You know, to have 3 guys battle that hard and they've all been so respectful to each other. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's just such a big honor to hang my #1 plate on the door. You know, I walk by all those #1 plates like every day, and you know, to see my name up there, it's definitely a goal that I've always had and a dream come true, and it's definitely a great feeling.
So there it is. The 52-point gap by Wilson cannot be overcome today by either Rattray or Baggett. So they are left to fight over second and third in the series. Either way, Pro Circuit will go 1, 2, 3. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates on the starting line.
We're here at the final round of the season, and the championship may have been wrapped up, but there is still a battle at hand. And Blake, you had said to me earlier this afternoon that you haven't felt quite yourself since Millville. It's the final round, your last-ditch effort, your fastest overall in qualifying. How bad do you want to top this off today?
Bad, real bad. You know, just going to try to go out here go out with a bang and try to win both these motos, and then head to MX Nations.
Best of luck to you today. Second fastest qualifying today is Marvin Muskin. And Marvin, coming to this track, you've got a lot of confidence after last weekend's podium, but this resembles home for you. Kind of like France, it's a racetrack in amongst the valley. How are you feeling lining up today?
I feel pretty good. This track is awesome, and there was a lot of jumps. I had a lot of fun at practicing, and so I know that track, and yeah, it's cool to be close to my house in California. A lot of people. And yeah, ready for racing and the last race outdoor.
One more to go. Go and get it. And Martin Davalos, we talked to him last week. You got to show the big smile. We wanted to see it. The helmet is off. You're still looking handsome. Take us through what's going through your mind, the strategy to attack this final round today.
Well, just pretty much just run my own race and try and do my best. Obviously, we're last race of the season, and everybody's going to try and go, crazy. I just want to go out there and finish my best, and work out healthy. That's the plan, and go until the off season and train hard for Supercross next year. So, obviously get my tooth fixed, and hopefully looking better next time you guys see me.
That's right, guys. Like we said, the championship's wrapped up, but their game face is definitely on today.
Not only did Dean Wilson clinch the championship last week, he won the race, and that is 11 wins in 11 rounds for Pro Circuit. Can anyone else challenge him today and end what would be the first ever perfect season? The likes of Tomac, Musquin, Davalos, Cunningham, Sykes, Swanepoel, and the rest are lined up to try to stop the mighty Green Army. Stay with us on Fuel TV.
I've been doing this for
Fully equipped and race ready. Deep inside the valley here, Pala California Raceway hosting the final round of this championship tour. Let's give you the 411 and show you exactly how we're going to go racing today. We'll have two classes, 250cc bikes and 450cc engines. Each class will race two motos. Each moto lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps. We combine the scores from both to determine an overall winner. Now, this racetrack made its debut on this championship tour last year, but it is a testing home for a lot of the teams, so the riders are pretty familiar with it, riding it throughout the year. Let's talk to the riders about the track.
Pala was cool. It was a new track for last year. It was one of those that you had to make sure you was hanging on because it was going to take you for a ride.
The track's really cool. They have half the track, and it's kind of jumpy and weaves in and out.
You go to the top, and they got like down and up hills, and then they have that big double.
The sun is actually pretty bad there for a couple of the jumps and hills for seeing, because you got ruts again. You can't see in the bottom of them.
I don't know, I just like the track. It's got some elevation changes, and it's just close to home, and that kind of does make a difference.
They always do a good job there. Even when we're out there practicing, they're always ripping it and putting a lot of water down.
Just being the last round of the year, there's a lot of pressure on points leaders, and you want to get out of there with healthy and go home to a little vacation.
All right, that's what the riders think of the track. Let's show you the track map brought to you by Kawasaki and the all-new 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready. Take us through it, Jeff.
Well, I can tell you here at Pala, all of the track that's going up towards the first turn, okay? You make this right. This is all basically uphill. It looks fairly flat, but it's not. So just remember that this is all on a grade. Get into this section over in here. This is where you get some of those steep uphills and downhills. Now, they're not super long like like at a Washougal or something, but this drop off, some doubles. And this is the section when you head back down the valley here through what they're calling the Huckabuckers right there, that gnarly set of sand whoops. This is when you get into the sun, and it's a difficult track. It's really fast here today.
Are they calling it the Huckabuckers, or are you? Let's go racing here live on Field TV. Oh, big pileup right off the start. And Blake Baggett going to lead everyone into turn 1.
A couple of Lucas Oil Honda riders, not sure which one.
Baggett leading his teammate Wilson. That's Darren Durham on the 37 and Brock Tickle. Their bikes are still tangled about, what, 20 feet out of the start gate.
And so for Brock Tickle, he's shown some really strong rides, but he seems to be so unlucky lately. Wow.
Yeah,
watching the middle of your screen as they lock bars.
Wow.
And there was 3 riders there, and that looks like
Cole Seeley.
Cole Seeley, yeah.
Yeah, on that Lucas Oil Trinity Honda. And Durham, nice dismount there, rodeo style. Luckily he was unhurt. Everybody back into the race.
Is there bonus points now for style? Are we doing that?
He didn't stay on 8 seconds, I can tell you that. Hey, we were talking about the domination of the 3 Pro Circuit riders at the top of the show. They're running 1, 2, 3 right now. Baggett, Wilson, Rattray. Here come the challengers. Marvin Musquin on the Red Bull KTM in 4th. We expected him to do some battle with the Kawasaki boys, and he's ready to do it right now from 4th.
Well, and that is the thing. What we heard in those sound bites earlier is that, you know, for these guys that live here in SoCal, this is a regular stop on the practice circuit during the week. So these riders spend a lot of time riding here. They know the track and the conditions well, and they do a good job at, you know, when they know that it's going to be like the pro day. You know, there's kind of a vibe. They'll rip this track up and you know, leave in some of these huge double jumps that you have here. So these guys have got a lot of time on this track.
Wilson trying to work the inside on Baggett. Baggett going to be our Fuel TV 1 to watch here. Wilson's not going to be able to watch him for long. He's gone from right behind him to right in front of him.
Well, Baggett's going to get a chance to watch the newly crowned champ here and see what sort of lines he has. Down through the Huckabuckers, this whoop section, it's officially been coined the Huckabuckers here by Pala Raceway.
Oh, not by you. Okay, I understand.
Not by me. I do like, and it's very fitting. That whoop section is gnarly. I was there in practice next to the track, and it was scary. The guys are coming down there so fast, and one little mistake, and I mean, carnage everywhere. Yard sale.
Wilson trying to hold off Baggett, who's keeping the pressure on. Then it's Rattray in 3rd. Musquin and Jimmy Dakota's running out the top 5. Great battle here between the teammates.
And great soil. Look at the mulch here in that whole start area. They ripped it up. It is a beautiful Southern California day here. It was cloudy and overcast early on, so a lot of the moisture stayed in the track, maybe about 75, 80 degrees. And 1 week ago, it was upwards of 100 degrees here. So I know these riders, and especially the thousands of fans that are lining the fences, are really happy that Mother Nature has given us some great weather.
Woo. Nice piece of riding there by Wilson through that section. Does he look like he's having fun today now that the pressure's off?
It's all about confidence, and there's no reason for Dean Wilson to lay off today. Lay up, I guess would be the term, because the championship's there. I mean, just keep the hammer down.
See Dakotas, he is in 5th on the red bike, the Honda. Then it's Swanepoel on the 387. And then 71 of Ryan Morris on the Suzuki, followed by his teammate, Martin Davalos.
Yeah, 3 Suzukis in a row there.
Yeah, and then behind Davalos at the 156 of Jason Anderson. So the 3 Kawasaki's running in formation, and the 3 Suzukis as well.
This uphill right there, that's one of my all-time favorite spots on the track. Yeah, great memories.
How's the dirt taste up there?
It's harder than you think, I can tell you that. So no onboard camera for me this year. Sorry, folks.
Here is Morris trying to get around a Swanepoel. This is the only man, we're talking about Swanepoel, who has beaten the Kawasaki team in a moto this year. He won the first moto at Southwick 2 weeks ago. Wasn't able to capitalize to win the overall for the day, but still, that's a mighty feather in your cap considering no one else on any other brand of bike has been able to do it. Today under pressure from Morris, who's joined us a little late in this tour. Was out early with hip surgery. But he's back. Anderson has gotten around Davalos now. Anderson going after Morris.
Yeah, well, Morris actually had a special moment in his life this week, right? Birth of their child.
Yeah, busy guy. Good thing to have a race local to his California home. I know what it's like to be stressed out trying to fit a race schedule into that program. So congratulations to he and Hannah, I believe his wife, right?
Correct.
Meanwhile, Anderson, though, has made the pass. Been waiting all year long. We mentioned it several times in this show for Jason Anderson to catch fire. He was the man in the amateur ranks a year ago. So a lot of people thought in his rookie pro year you'd see him running toward the front up near the podium. Hasn't had it come together for him yet. Go back forward. Looks like Rattray in 3rd, under fire from the 125 Musquin. And
the Frenchman Musquin is up there putting on a good solid ride. Now he's spent a lot of time practicing here. He's obviously from France, but he lives here in Southern California now, racing the AMA circuit. But this is a wide open type of track here, and it's a type of track that he really enjoys, and you can tell he says he's having fun on the track. You know, lap times are good, and you know, normally when the rider's not happy, there's going to be a pretty good correlation between a bad lap time or a bad finish and that unhappiness. But look at Musquin right now trying to go around the outside. Both riders, former MX2 world champions, of course the 250 class, formerly 125cc class.
Yeah, both these guys spent some time in Europe, like I said, and Rattray, the 2008 champion overseas, and then Musquin won the 2009 and 2010 championship. So these two never really got a chance to race each other. Musquin was still kind of coming through the ranks when Rattray was on top of that series. Then Rattray moved to the U.S., so one of the first times I've ever been on the same racetrack battling for the same spot.
But this racetrack also it's spectacular for the fans. You know, you missed my track walk this morning, but
I'm very upset.
Track walk around the outsides, got a chance to vibe out with all the fans and checking it out. And I'm telling you, back here through the Huckabuckers, I was watching
Whoa! Wilson! What? Jumping over that rhythm section, and you can hear the crowd come to life over that move.
What I was going to say, I was watching a 450 practice, and Chad Reed kept kind of sizing something up. Is it possible that this friendship between Reed and Wilson there, that they talked about that type of moving, that, hey, I think if you come through this, actually, let's take a look again at this. Now, normally you would jump over the top and then have a single after it. Watch Wilson on the rear wheel, manualing it, picking up his speed. Okay, now he gets his sequence where he wants to be. Now watch him hammer right here, and then stays on the throttle, even lifts it. Wow, that was awesome. And that's why Wilson just turned a 214 flat, and Baggett and everyone else is about a full second up from that.
And they all got to see it with a front row seat. Rattray, Baggett, Musquin, they got to see him jump that thing, and now they know they're going to have to step up and do it as well if they want to keep up with your leader. We'll go a little bit further back. You got Dakota, Swanepoel, and Anderson. All want a piece of the top 5.
And this section that they went through there in the background, it's awesome because you can actually buy a spot to put all your RVs right there. So the fans right along that section just are treated to excellent parking.
Living it.
Cool,
Living
yeah.
that sense. It's like their front yard. Look at Swanepoel trying to make a move on Dakotas. It was those up and down hills you were talking about, and Anderson following them through.
Yeah, Dakotas is he's doing a little cat and mouse, kind of looking back, trying to guard his position. The only problem, though, is that when you get into that situation, your lap time usually starts to jack up. And Dakotas was a 217, our leader was at a 214.
Everywhere that Swanepoel wants to go, Dakota seems to be there. Swanepoel still not able to make the pass. And meanwhile, Anderson back under fire from his teammate Morris. Here goes Swanepoel again.
Yeah, look at, he's got that line there. And I tell you, in that situation, the rider behind starts to get a little ticked off. That's when you start with some rough riding.
Dakota's able to avoid that. Yes, we have a pool set up right next to the track as well. A really cool place to watch a motocross race. Welcome back to Pala Raceway. Dean Wilson leading this first moto in the final round of this Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. He has already wrapped up the championship in this class and riding that wave of momentum right now. He had to get around his teammate Blake Baggett early and was able to do that. Now it's Tyler Rattray into the number 2 spot. While we were away at break, Rattray made the move on the 57 of Blake Baggett, and the 125 of Marvin Musquin is right there, trying to break up this trio of Kawasaki riders up front.
Yeah, but if you look at the lap times the last time around, Jason, it was Tyler Rattray, a 214.6. Wilson was a 215.6. Baggett was right there in the 214s, and Musquin was at a 215. So really, it's Rattray and Baggett here in the middle of your screen. I mean, the two middle riders in this 4-man group that are on the move. So we'll see if the KTM rider sitting back and forth can find some better lines. I noticed last time around he's riding a lot of the wide lines. Okay, choosing a different line, which I think is a good move. You got to search it out. See right here how he's taking it wide. You got to go way out there. Now, if you do that, you really have to carry some speed because you're going a longer distance, of course. And on a small bore bike here like the 250Fs, it's not a bad choice, especially with an uphill coming up. See right here where Anderson's at, this uphill on the right, it falls away to your left right there. Now you got to get all the momentum and get that horsepower to the ground to jump that big Lucas Oil tabletop, which is really fun, by the way. I don't know if you've ever jumped that before.
What do you think?
Okay, so I'm assuming no.
After our 2 straight hours of live coverage is complete tonight on Fuel, don't miss the premiere of the Moto Inside the Outdoors right after this race. Take an inside look at the real story behind the ride. That's tonight, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on Fuel TV. If you're not familiar with that show, this is an inside look at this Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. The crew follows the riders to their homes during the week. They follow them when they're riding and training. They put microphones on the mechanics and the families and the team members during the motos. It's if you don't understand the sport of motocross, when you're done watching the Moto Inside the Outdoors, you will understand it. It's an awesome view of the sport.
And there's moments in there that are going to make you laugh. I guarantee sometime you're going to cry.
Yep.
Okay, and you're going to see what this is all about and how much hard work and dedication the riders, the teams, the families, the girlfriends, the wives, how much sacrifice goes on to do this sport.
Battle is on for second. Baggett trying to get Rattray back. Rattray passed him about 2 laps ago. And it's nearing the halfway point of the moto. Back when Baggett was the man winning a whole bunch of races in this tour earlier in the year, it was at about this point in the race when he would begin to put on a charge.
Well, he told you that, right? He told you the halfway point is what, I'm waiting for the halfway point, and then I pull the trigger.
So we'll see if he still has that in him. If he could get Rattray, he still has about 3 more seconds to make up on Wilson, who is your leader. And let's send it down to Aaron, who was a special guest down on the track. Aaron?
Brian Deegan is always exploring new opportunities in the racing world. And Brian, maybe you could explain to us the upcoming 2012 Supercross Motocross season and elaborate on what's taking place.
Well, I'm excited to be a part of the races. This is where my heart is. And I want to come out here and do a race team, Metal Militia Racing, and do West Coast Supercross, Outdoor Nationals. We've got support from Yamaha right now. Everything's going good. Looking at great riders that fit our image. And I really want to go out there and be serious and go out and put in results and have great bikes and just give back to the sport that this is where I started. Grew up racing motocross, supercross. It's awesome. It's on. So game on 2012.
Speaking of game on, put the racing aside. Take us through the Ellis Mania boxing match you have coming up.
Yeah, so many things going on lately. After X Games, I said, all right, it's time to get focused. Me and Dave Mira are going to fight. Ellis Mania, we're going to get in the ring. All the talk stops when that bell rings. It's game on, boxing gloves. We're going to brawl it out, but in all, it's good. It's for charity, and in the end, it's definitely serious, and me and Dave are serious guys, so but afterwards we'll shake hands and have a good time. So it's on. Check it out.
Yeah, it is on. It's not going to be on Fuel TV. November 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. That's Ellis Mania 7. Mira and Deegan in a cage. That's going to be fun to watch. And Jason Ellis, a big motocross fan as well. He's probably out here watching today, putting that together. Meanwhile, Blake Baggett in a fight with his teammate Rattray for the number 2 spot, and he has finally reclaimed that position. 3 or 4 laps these two have been duking it out.
Yeah, and in the process there, Baggett turned a lap time that was a second faster than Rattray and about a half a second faster than Wilson. So at the moment, 57 here, Blake Baggett, local SoCal boy here from Grand Terrace, California. Actually used to be my neighbor when I lived in that area. But yeah, he's on the move.
That's really sad. He never had the chance to be the fastest kid on the block. Never was able to claim that.
I was 15, 20 years older than him, so
right.
He was on a PW,
right? They have put a little bit of distance, but not much, on the Frenchman here in the number 4 spot. But it's got to be a nice shot in the arm for him to at least run with these guys. As I was saying earlier, he's never really had the chance to race Rattray and missed most of this year with an injury. So at least he's able to measure himself against those boys.
Yeah, and it's right now, Marvin is in a real confidence-building mode. Remember, you go back to Freestone, first moto, first lap, gets his hand broke when Marcia went down.
Yeah.
And it set you back. And that type of injury, it's tough to do the physical therapy and get back on top, but he's certainly putting in some good rides here today.
And it is Anderson who's moved up to 5th behind him. So 2 of the riders who have not had the season that they would like, Musquian and Anderson, finally coming to life here at your finale. Stay with us.
Dirty Mouth.
Welcome back to Pala Raceway. Dean Wilson, who won both motos at this race last year, is in the lead again, but it's not going to be easy this time. He's got his teammate Blank Baggett behind him, and Wilson continues to jump that huge rhythm to that long straightaway.
I believe Dean Wilson's going to need that advantage. Now, I haven't seen, because we haven't seen it on the screen here, whether or not Baggett is jumping that also, but last time around it was Baggett that was a second faster. They've evened out, although Baggett was just a couple of clicks quicker right there as he gets the message there from his mechanic in the mechanics area that it's Baggett behind him. And that's what you want to know, because you know the tendencies of each rider and kind of their MO and how they ride and what to look out for. And, you know, we're definitely past the halfway point, so Baggett's going to pull the trigger at this point, right?
Watch Fuel TV's new original series, Strangers in Danger, with best friends and pro BMXers Mike Rooftop Escamilla and Zach Catfish Yankush. They're lightly packed, heavily insured, and they're on a mission to take on some of the most extreme, bizarre, and dangerous experiences around the globe. Strangers in Danger, Tuesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. I got to catch one of those episodes last week. They went to China and risked their lives 7 or 8 times in one episode. You definitely want to check out Strangers in Danger. It was crazier than I thought it would be.
So, turn down the guest appearance on that? No, I'm busy that day.
Yeah, not available when they're getting acupuncture via bees and climbing, I think it was 6,000 feet across a bridge. Yeah, no thanks. This is scary enough. These guys are really pushing the envelope on this racetrack. Baggett, dare I bring back the El Chupacabra name the last half of this race? Is he beginning to attack? Well, that section didn't work out.
Well, it certainly is the weather and the conditions here. The mountainous area here that we're in Pala is where they've been known to roam.
Oh, okay, all right. So there might be a sighting. Aaron, what are you hearing on the number 15, Dean Wilson, our leader? Aaron?
He had won the championship just 1 week ago, but he is starting to feel the aftermath already. When he showed up this morning, he was in a great mood, but all day long, people have been wanting a little piece of him, a report, just some sort of interview. At this point of the day, lining up the start gate, he was actually kind of grumpy, which we don't normally see Dean act like. So I think right now he's in the best place he can be. He's out front, no one to bug him. He's doing exactly what he loves to do.
Now, Aaron, he's not talking about requests from you, is he? I mean, this is other reporters from other avenues, right?
I think I'm fortunate. I'm one of the few people Dean loves to talk to, so I'm on the good side there.
All right, that's good to hear.
Hey, it happens. I mean, to the victor goes the spoils, but I'm telling you, in this case, I mean, that pressure, everyone wants a piece of you. I mean, even I was getting a jersey today for a friend.
So are you serious?
Part of it.
A jersey hunter? Wow. This kid will not give up. The Marv attack that they talk about through Europe is here in the U.S. And Muscan going after the 28 of Rattray. Rattray hit a little hook in that berm there. Not able to shake the KTM rider.
Look at the tracks really starting to get chewed up now. There's kind of one good line that everyone's been taking, and you really aren't having to move around too much to miss any of the bumps. The track's really fast right now. You know, you can see that they've really prepped the track well as far as, you know, water and moisture in the track. See right there, really no bumps coming out of it. But as these motos wear on today, especially this uphill, it's going to be so chopped out, it's going to be hard to even jump over this Lucas Oil tabletop.
Working their way past a rider going a lap down. Behind them, meanwhile, Swanepoel has moved up to the number 5 spot ahead of his teammate Cunningham. Anderson going back to 7th. Morris, Malcolm Stewart, and Davalos ran out the top 10. And a couple other riders we expected to be up there challenging the Pro Circuit squad. Eli Tomac had a bad start. He is back in 11th. Been a tough year for Tomac as far as the starts go. He's been riding very fast the last couple of weeks. And thought he might be able to challenge a Pro Circuit team, at least not so far. So it's up to perhaps Muscan here to break up this sweep.
Yeah, but you take a look at the leaderboard there, scrolling across the top. Seeley, who was down up to start, he's in 13th. Wow, this amazing ride so far. And Tickle's up to 23rd, and Durham is 20th inside the top 20. So
amazing.
Pretty strong starts there in the first 25 minutes of this moto. Yeah, that was a pretty vicious crash there going down the start straight.
Yeah, gone through half the field. For Marvin here, we'll go back to him in a second. We want to show this battle. You've got Swanepoel under pressure. Kyle Cunningham is back. This is the guy who had become Mr. Fourth Place behind the Pro Circuit boys mid-season. Had a rough race at Southwick. I think he was still feeling the effects of that last week at Steel City. Looks like he is regrouped, and the 35 is going after his teammate for the number 5 position.
Yeah, see, that's that section where Wilson was jumping off the top over that single. Yamaha boys are not quite picking up on that line. And you look at the lap times. These riders around a 2:18, 2:17, and Baggett's still at a 2:14.
So, and as Baggett is close to the rear wheel now, Wilson, what's on the line for Baggett, Jeff? He had a shot at this championship. Last couple of rounds, Wilson pulled away and locked it up. What would it mean to Baggett to beat the man who just beat you for the championship?
Yeah, well, moto wins is on the line, possibly an overall. You go into the record books with the overalls. There's money on the line, bonuses. From,
I want to take it a step further, though.
Sponsors.
What is it mentally for him to say, you got me for the title, but I can still beat you? I mean, is that on the line between these two teammates, or is it the last round and next year's a long way off?
Yeah, well, it's about keeping it going. There's some pride on the line, too. And Mitch Payton said earlier that these guys have raced pretty clean all summer.
That's Malcolm Stewart, who had just worked his way up into the top 10. Looks like he just ran into some trouble and may have lost a few spots. He was 8th. It's been a good summer for Malcolm for the most part, and we'll take it through what happened to the 139.
Wow, he loses the rear wheel just a little bit in that berm up on top, and looked like it high-sided him a little bit. And it's really loose soil there. It looked like he got a mouthful of dirt. Plus the other riders coming by are putting some pretty good roost into him, but luckily it was a soft landing.
Back to our leaders. It's still Wilson and Baggett, and this one might go down to the wire. You see the countdown clock at the top of the screen. 3 minutes and 2 laps left, so plenty of time for Baggett to try to make a move, or Wilson to break back away. But I think Baggett wants to go for the pass.
I would. Time to go for it. And what can't be understood is in a couple of weeks, these riders are going to represent their country in the Motocross of Nations. Dean Wilson will be riding for the United Kingdom. Blake Baggett will be going for the United States.
All right.
And we know that we've got issues between these two countries going way back
to the 1700s. Really? Okay. We'll let these two settle it. The Scotsman Wilson and the Californian Baggett. But yeah, that's true. They will actually be battling, and they will not be teammates. It's going to be held in France next week, and we'll see. They're going to have to race Marvin Musquin on his home turf as well, so he'll be in that mix also.
And I tell you, that Musquin riding in Western France, the crowd support for him is going to be unbelievable.
All right, this is a great race. We'll stay with it as Wilson tries to hold off Baggett, and Baggett trying to prove that although Wilson got the better of him for the championship, that he can still pull those El Chupacabra charges in the second half of the race and work his way forward. It's going to be fun. We'll be back with a finale when we return live on Fuel TV.
Since I was a kid, I've been fan.
Blake Baggett still trying to figure out a way around Dean Wilson while we're at break. He really put in an attack, but every time we thought he had the pass made, Wilson was able to respond and hold him off. Now we're waiting for that 2-lap card to come out.
And I wonder if that has motivated Wilson. He really is putting in a better lap, and it was this section 1 lap ago where Baggett was all over him. But Wilson withstood the pressure there. So we'll see as they come around the finish line one more time and see what that lap time is. But you see he's got a good 3 or 4 bike links on him.
Yeah, this is where they were a lap ago, Jeff.
Yeah, watch. Wilson tries to stop, and he stands up just a little bit. That allows Baggett to get to the inside. And watch how close they get over this drop-off. Wilson has to lift up his foot just to not hit the front wheel of Baggett.
And Baggett worked a few times throughout this section, all the way down into the valley. And I thought for sure in this section that Baggett had the pass made. Wilson was able to hold him off, and now they switched lines again. The last time around, Baggett was on the inside. This time, Wilson on the inside. And Wilson still in the lead.
Yeah, so Wilson 2:15.4. Baggett that time at 2:16.4, so lost a second. But you can see he's still right there taking on the roost. But who has lost time is their teammate Pala Raceway. He lost 2 seconds this last lap. He's now close to 14 seconds behind, but Musquin is only a few clicks off of him. So the top two are pretty close, and then second, third, and fourth are pretty close also.
Yeah, and Swanepoel still in fifth, just trying to hold off his teammate Cunningham, who's right behind him.
You notice the AMA official there with the blue flag in his hand. That's for the lapped riders. And they're definitely getting into that group right now. Take a look and we'll know just how far they've lapped up to here with 2 to go.
And Baggett now down to a lap and a half to try to make something happen and get the lead. But as you were saying, here comes some lap riders.
And a situation like that could have been dangerous there for the 15.
I believe that was Kyle Peters, 23rd place, who just went a lap down. So they are nearing the top 20, which means you're going to start lapping riders who are battling for championship points. So they're not just going to stop and pull over when you get to them. Wilson will have to deal with that.
Tell you, this whole hillside area right there, I walked that earlier today, and the viewing from there is unbelievable. DC has an area up there that is just like the best view of the whole valley. It's, they really have done some great things with this very young racetrack. I mean, just a year and a half ago, this place was not a national track.
Yeah.
And tremendous effort here from everyone involved with Pala Raceway.
Another lap rider that Wilson has to contend with. This could be another shot for Baggett. But again, he is not as close as he was 2 laps ago. And now we're nearing the white flag.
Let's see if Dean Wilson can get his line back. Not jumping over this single right there. Doesn't quite have the line, but now it looks like he's focused on cleaning up his turns, carrying his momentum, and he's got a little gap here. White flag going to be out pretty quick.
We'll see if Wilson can hold back the attacks of the Chupacabra with a lap to go. The gap is 2 seconds, and it was about 0 seconds. Well, okay, 2 seconds on my clock and 1 second on Paul Perapino's clock. Letting him know objects may be closer than they appear. And still, though, it looked like it was inevitable that Baggett was going to get him. He closed in from a couple seconds back, put major pressure on. Wilson has done a great job rebounding.
Well, and that's where all that mental strength and the confidence, the belief in yourself, and I'm sure Dean's like, hey, I'm the new champion. I'm not giving this win up. I want to still win these motos and do everything involved and just keep that momentum going.
And Rattray is now 16 seconds back in third. So that gives you an idea how much both of these young kids have stepped up, Wilson and Baggett. And it's amazing in this class, folks. Wilson and Baggett, it's only their second go-around as professionals. Go back to 2009, and they were racing on the amateur circuit in the U.S. So it says a lot about what the amateur tour has done to prepare these riders for the pro ranks. Now Wilson is already champ. Baggett has won a bunch of races this year. These guys come in ready.
It was interesting when, he almost goes down. When both of these riders graduated from the amateur ranks, Mitch Payton looked at both of them for pro circuit. He went with Dean Wilson, and then Baggett went to Rockstar Suzuki for a year and showed a lot of promise there. His contract was up, and so then Mitch signed him, right? Got that kind of almost like a second chance at Blake Baggett, and he's really been spectacular this year. There's been a few mistakes here and there, but speed and things like that, he definitely has got it.
Yeah, they've locked in 2 good ones for the future here with Wilson and Baggett, but it's beginning to look more and more like Wilson will not only take the measure of Baggett in the championship, but maybe in this first moto. Whoa! That was a little crazy through that huckabuck section.
That's a huckabuck, and I'm telling you, you got to be 4th, maybe even 5th gear on these 250Fs through there. So if you get off right there, not going to be good.
We're closing in on the checkered flag. So is Dean Wilson, the fist pump. Here it is. Dean Wilson takes the first moto at Pala. Blake Baggett right behind him. A great race right down to the end. 1.3 seconds, the final margin of victory. We go back to third. Tyler Rattray was there for most of the race. But when Wilson and Baggett hooked up down the stretch, they brought their pace to another level. Rattray cruising through here, not even doubling.
Yeah, he made a little mistake, didn't make that double, but look how close Musquin was. He was right there. He probably gave up a second and a half by not doing that double.
And that very section. So Musquin almost breaks up that Kawasaki sweep of the podium. Could not get it done. So it is looking more and more like possibly 12 overall wins in 12 rounds for the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. It looks good after the first race today.
Wilson talking to his mechanic, Paul. They got to be happy about having another moto win. We'll be back right after this.
I've been doing this for...
Welcome back to Pala Raceway. We have just wrapped up our first moto. We'll talk to our winner in just a moment. Want to talk about first big talk and big tunes and big sports. The Daily Habit, the wildest late night party on television, weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. Let's give you the race recap and show you how our race winner Dean Wilson got that win. Huge pileup right off the start. Luckily, none of these riders were hurt. Cole Sealy in the 36, 37, Darren Durham, and the 20 of Brock Tickle were all able to come back and actually score some points in this race. Meanwhile, the number 15 of Dean Wilson takes the lead from your early leader, 57 of Blake Baggett, but that one was far from over. Here's Baggett trying to mount a comeback. Latter stages of the event for about 20 minutes. Wilson had him held at bay. Baggett comes so close to taking the lead back with 5 laps to go. From there, though, Wilson would up his pace and hold Baggett off. He win by 1.3 seconds. A great race between the two Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki teammates. And another one of their teammates, Tyler Rattray, finishes third, holding off Marvin Musquion, and then Gareth Swanepoel holds off his teammate, Kyle Cunningham, on the DNA Shred Stick Star Racing Yamaha for 6th. Eli Tomac, great ride after a bad start, salvages a 7th. I'm telling you, this kid could get off the gate with the leaders. He might be able to beat them. Sealy, from that crash out of the gate, ends up 11th. Tickle 19th and Durham 16th. Unbelievable rides for those three who were down early. There's your top 40. Let's send it down to Aaron on the podium with your race winner. Aaron?
Dean Wilson said a big relief having that championship wrapped up. But Dean, a little bit of controversy just took place between you and one of your teammates, something that hasn't happened all season long. Take us through what happened from your perspective.
You know, I'm out to win. You know, that's my goal. And just because I won the championship doesn't mean anything. You know, I really want to win here. I got all my family here. And I don't know, I just unexpectedly I crossed the finish, and then he grabs my helmet like a tough guy. And, you know, he's my teammate, and I respect him on the track. I'm not going out there to take him out. I was in the lead. He was bummed out. I don't know. But you know what? I'm moving on. I'm not worrying about it. You know, I just couldn't do it without everybody. Monster Energy Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Scott, Bands, everybody that's helped me out. Thanks so much.
Congratulations on a dominating first moto.
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong or, you know, malicious or dirty riding there. I mean, their lap times were great. It's not like he threw out the anchor and he's zigzagging all over the place. It's just a little bit of frustration that Baggett was showing.
Wow. Well, we'll get inside on that when you watch the premiere of the Moto Inside the Outdoors. Episode 1 will be tonight, as soon as we're done with our live coverage of this championship. That's tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 Pacific. Get a real look at the inside story behind the ride. That's the Moto Inside the Outdoors coming up next. First, though, let's send it down to the podium with Aaron.
We got Dean's take on it, but now, Blake, take us through what happened from your perspective. You were obviously pretty upset with Dean when you came off the track.
Yeah, I mean, he's cross-jumped me since we were amateurs, and if you cross-jump somebody on the lip of a jump, you're going to end up killing somebody, literally killing them, because they're going to be flying through the air with no bike. And he's done it since amateurs. He's done it all along, and I'm just sick and tired of it. I don't care if he's my teammate. You're going to kill somebody. That's not the right thing to do. You know what I mean? And he's done it all along, and I'm just tired of it. And I just tried to ask him, like, what are you doing? You're going to end up killing somebody. And he tried to get all tough guy with me, and I just grabbed his helmet, like, I'm asking you why. Give me an answer. And he can't give me an answer. So whatever, just going to try to come back the next race and do the best I can.
Things have fired up under the Pro Circuit Kawasaki tent, guys.
Wow. Yeah, that certainly was a different take. that was the different perspective. Hey, he's frustrated, though. He wants to go win these races, and I applaud him. He is trying hard, and that was a great effort that he put in.
Okay, upcoming TV here on Fuel TV. We'll have our highlight show, of course, September 15th, because every Thursday night at 10 we have our highlights of each round, and then we'll have a full package of the entire season's worth of highlights on September 22nd at 10 p.m. Eastern. So it's great that Fuel TV is not only showing the races, but showing the highlights of the midweek as well. Let's send it back down to the podium with Aaron.
Tyler Rattray was 6th overall in practice. You obviously had found your rhythm out there. The track's starting to get pretty choppy. Things are getting a little fired up. You're going to now have to be a mediator under the Pro Circuit tent. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, it's, you know, they obviously two young guys, you know, and they're racing and want to win badly, and obviously want to be the best, and that's what happens when you're that age. And but I'm happy with my ride. You know, I felt good in the beginning there, and halfway suffered with a bit of on pump, and I make a couple of suspension changes on the front. You know, it's really choppy out there, and I think the second race will be a lot better.
One left to go.
What do you think of that little arm pump from Rattray?
Yeah, it's interesting that he would say arm pump at this point, you know?
Yeah, rough track.
Riding a little
Hey,
tight.
when we come back, we'll talk to some of the greats of the sport about what they love about racing the sport of motocross. You don't want to miss this feature when we return.
I just want to be the best.
And a new champion is now the championship is decided, and now there's heat between the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki teammates. There's Baggett on the back and Wilson in the center, and I don't think they're talking to each other right now. We will see if they can hash it out in the pits between these motos, but clearly the 57 of Baggett not happy with what he says was some cross-jumping from his teammate Wilson.
Yeah, they got a little bit close there on that finish line area, no doubt.
Legends and Heroes have set up a really cool vintage bike display at the majority of these races. You get to see the history of the sport, and we're highlighting the history. Oh, you found something you like there.
A 370?
RM? Wow, okay. And we've talked to some of the greats, the legends and heroes, I should say, of this sport, about what they love about this sport. Let's hear from them.
To be able to ride a motorcycle for a living, just it's awesome.
Doing what you love to do, to get paid for it. I mean, would have did it to pay to do it.
It was cool to have people there cheering you on and having a following.
I mean, for the fans, it's just an awesome sport to watch.
40 guys lining next to each other and heading to a funnel down first turn.
Just bumping into everybody. I hit Talon Boland so hard one time in the first turn, I smashed my pipe in, broke his foot, and broke my rear disc. We went 1-2 that moto, and he came off the track laughing. I had my goggles off, I couldn't see anything, I had sand in my eyes, and we're just laughing. Like, that was the best race ever. And, you know, that's something you can't get in anything else now.
Having heroes and then getting to sit on the starting line with them and then beat them and then win a championship and represent the United States. I mean, start to finish, the whole thing was awesome.
There's something about racing something with an engine that has always been exciting for many, many people.
It's really a complicated sport. It's not so simple, and that's what makes it so great.
You have car racing, there's a lot of other motorsports, but I think this one is the most balanced between the two.
If you, yourself, were good enough, you would go out there and beat Bubba and have a ride. But you can't do that in any other sport. This sport is all about the individual.
You know, it's a lifestyle. It's not anything more or less than that. I mean, that's our life.
Well, as we celebrate 40 years of history in this American Motocross Tour, we're going to make some more of it as the Ryans begin their final round showdown. Moto 1 of the 450s coming up next on Fuel TV.
Every rider is measured by victory, determination, and heart. But the spoils go to those.
They share more than just a common first name. Both men are in their early 20s and approaching the primes of their careers. For the past 2 seasons, Ryan Dungey has dominated motocross around the world with 6 major titles in 2 years' time. While the Suzuki star has been on the sport's center stage, Kawasaki's Ryan Villopoto has been watching from the sidelines. He has had moments of glory, but was never able to complete a full 450 season healthy and competitive. In 2011, that all changed. Dungey and Villopoto were part of a group of riders that took the Supercross Championship down to the final laps at Las Vegas, where Villopoto emerged with his first 450 title. When the series moved outdoors, so did the rivalry. Across the motocross landscape of America, Dungey and Villopoto proved to be the class of the field. After 22 motos and over 700 minutes of racing, these two superstars are still battling for the 2011 championship. If history holds, this will be one of many title showdowns the two Ryans should have in their careers. So enjoy the rivalry today. It's rare in sports to say you were there at the beginning of something special. Ryan Villopoto and Ryan Dungey are set to face off one more time. At stake, the 450 title in the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship.
Well, there it is. Everything is on the line, and all the riders are down at the line as the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship continues here on Fuel TV. The two of Villopoto, the one of Dungey, 14 points between them. What do they need to do to wrap up the title today? We talked to both of them earlier.
I guess coming in today into Pala, just really focusing on doing two solid motos. You know, I think we can only control so much, and the rest is out of our hands. But I think, you know, a couple, I think two first places would give us maximum points, and let the rest fall into place. But it's nice to be here with a good shot at the title. But we'll see how the day plays out, and have fun and enjoy it, and keep our head down.
Just get out there, get two good starts, and stay out of trouble. But I'm just approaching it as a normal race. I'm not trying to put any added pressure on myself, but you know, like I said, we got 14 points, and it's a good cushion, but still we want to just do our job.
Well, there it is. Villopoto needs to finish fourth in both motos if Dungey wins them both, but as we've seen at this track, anything can happen. Stay tuned. Well, there's still one race left in this championship, but depending on how it ends up, we know that last week's race at Steel City played a huge part in how it might possibly turn out. Came down to the last lap of the first moto, and Villopoto was able to just get by Ryan Dungey and steal the lead and 3 championship points. Then he came back in Moto 2 and absolutely dominated. It was a perfect day for Villopoto, and that's why he has a 14-point gap coming into our finale today. So that's the story coming into this Moto 1 of the 450s here at Pala Raceway, just outside of San Diego. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship finale. Here are your track facts. Second time we've ever raced in this tour at Pala. And you can see last year Ryan Dungey won this race on his Suzuki. He would love to do that again, and then hope maybe for a little bit of bad luck for Ryan Villopoto. Let's check out our track map brought to you by Kawasaki and the all-new 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready. Jeff?
This is how the riders are going to have to be here as you go off this start. Nice and loamy, nice left and a right. It kind of funnels the riders out. And then you get through the zigzags and it starts to open up. And I tell you, if you grab the whole shot here on the first lap, you're going to like that, because there's going to be a lot of roost coming off the back of the bikes. Get into the hill section. Of course, this uphill step up and then a big drop off and massive double jump. Super fast section. You get into the Lucas Oil Huckabucks. Of course, we've seen there's a new line as you can jump over the top, over the finish, and that is the racetrack at Pala Raceway.
Here's Fuel TV's one to watch, Colton Fasciotti, the 3-time champ up in Canada, who's now picked up a ride with Troy Lee Design's Lucas Oil Honda, and finished 11th in Southwick. That's what impressed the team. They've picked him up in replacement for Christian Craig, who is out with a broken wrist, so we'll see how the Canadian does here.
Yeah, I spoke to Christian earlier today. Put a pin in his wrist in the,
navicular
bone. Yeah,
the legendary.
Says he feels good.
There they are, the two contenders lined up on the inside. Let's go racing.
Dungey gets the edge, and it's Reed.
Whoa, Reed in the 22 gets in front of both of them. Not a good start at all for Villopoto, and then a bunch of riders are down. Villopoto able to avoid that.
That looked like it might have been Reed that was down in the first turn.
Wow.
The rider on the inside was definitely down.
Chaos. Sean Borgenhagen on the 78 just got up. Anderson, 64 is down, and that was Reed apparently down in the first turn. So one of the potential spoilers for the championship is way back. Mike Alessi in the lead, and easy to find our one to watch. He is in second. Colton Fasciotti. We're finding Dungey here, the number 1. And then you got to find Villopoto.
Yeah, it's there's Dungey gets into the back of.
That came close.
So 732.
Man, this is all sorts of mixed up the way that start turned out. I thought Reed might have the whole shot. Now he's way back. Dungey's got to work his way through some traffic with Villopoto right there. This is the type of scenario, I guess, if you're Dungey, you want things to get a little bit crazy. And so far it has happened, but He's in the midst of the craziness as opposed to taking advantage of it.
Rider off the track there, and it looks like Nico Izzy that Dungey's trying to get past. You see Villopoto, if I'm him, I'm just in the background here. I'm just purely focused on Ryan Dungey, and I'm just going to be cool right now and let this thing sort itself out. Dungey's the one that needs all the positions and all the points to have any shot at this title.
All right, he's going after the 42 of Izzy. Izzy in only his second race, ever on 450. There goes Dungey to the inside. He's made the move. This has turned crazy because I think Dungey's probably riding with riders he might not even know or really doesn't understand what kind of strategy they're going to run on the first lap. Kyle Regal in the 30 is next in line.
So Dungey just sneaks by. Is that Fasciati with the lead right now?
No, I think it's Alessi in front of him. We'll go back to the leaders in just a moment. Here they are through the Huckabuck section. So that first turn crash has really mixed things up. Some riders who look to have bad starts are now up front. Some riders who look to have good starts are now in the back. And Dungey's trying to work on them. And boy, it's crazy. These riders are crisscrossing the lines here.
I tell you, with Reed having the whole shot and going down.
Oh! Dungey makes a mistake, and Villopoto's going to put a pass on him. He couldn't wait forever.
Just capitalized on the mistake. That's a key component. But now you're going to see Dungey really, I mean, hey, it's time to get it done right now for the #1. But the interesting thing is when Reed went down on the first turn there, all of the title contenders that were trying to sneak around the inside with the good start, they got bottled up.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of these 3-digit riders.
Like Hames and the 330 of AJ Catanzaro. There's the Catanzaro right there in front of Villopoto. Catanzaro, guy comes out of the New England area. No, he's does some riding and training with our good buddy John Dowd. Sometimes here he's trying to hold off Villopoto and Dungey. And Dungey going to try to get Villopoto back and go after Catanzaro as well. They almost come together. Dungey makes the pass. And I'm telling you what, there have been way too many heart-stopping moments already in this race for Dungey and Villopoto. And Jeff, you can take us through this off the start.
Yeah, way over here on this side. That's where our championship contenders are. And watch the red Honda of Reed get out, and he makes a left. And watch how he pinches all of the 2 title contenders and everybody on the inside there. Now let's focus on what happens and why Reed goes down. Looks like Izzy gets a little buck there, and that's Barsha, gets into the back of Reed. Dungey goes up over the top of someone.
Whew. All right, so Reed, by the way, 31st at the end of lap 1 by virtue of that crash. Here's Dungey working on Izzy again. I believe he has now cleared the 330 of AJ Catanzaro. And everywhere Dungey goes, Villopoto follows him through. Next rider in the order. Let's see, you got your leader is Alessi. Fasciati is second on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda. Jake Weimer, that is Villopoto's teammate, is next. Then it's Regal, the number 30, the BTOsports.com Butler Brothers Suzuki.
Here goes Villopoto. He goes by Nico Izzy pretty easy through the whoop section. Hey, Villopoto, he's got to put on a strong, smart ride. And it's, in a way, it's going to be kind of comforting to see Dungey just in front of him because he can just focus on that as they move through the pack. But I suspect that by the time you get to the end of this moto, having a moto win or finishing in front of Dungey is going to be the real focus, and you're going to see Villopoto go after it.
So Mike Fisher, team manager there at Monster Kawasaki, they said it's a pretty familiar situation to them. And Villopoto put himself in a favorable title position coming into the last round of Supercross this year, whereas Dungey had to win the race and hope for the best. There's Dungey holding him off right now. Dungey needs to get by these guys and hope Villopoto cannot. Well, he's working on Regal. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you want to be able to ride your own race for you to not have to count on a mistake by someone else. Okay, and that's, I mean, Dungey's going to need a little bit of help here as he's trying to get past Regal. Regal's not making it easy. Oh, that's another rider down.
I believe that must have been Weimer. They rode over. It was a Kawasaki, I can tell you that much. And Weimer on a Kawasaki was in front of them. Here goes Dungey around the outside and trying to get Regal. And Regal's going to try to hold him off around the outside. Let's see who can win the race up the hill. Dungey picks up another spot. And Villopoto, of course, trying to follow suit. Look out.
Regal he holds the line, but he couldn't get the Suzuki turn. Villopoto goes right on by. So as our 2 title contenders are working their way through the pack. Some riders are making it really easy for them to get through.
Well, I guess in some ways, though. Oh, wait a minute, a mistake by Dungey, and Villopoto's going to get by him again. Now, how much of a race does Villopoto really want to be in with Dungey?
Whoa, that was close.
Oh, Villopoto almost threw it away. I'll tell you, if anything, I would think, in my mind, Jeff, I think this situation could favor Dungey. The last thing Dungey wants is them to just get out front by themselves. We've seen some crazy things happen already in this moto, and Dungey needs something crazy to happen. Villopoto racing him and trying to come back, making a pass. I'm impressed with the kind of risks that Villopoto is willing to take here.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. Now watch when he lands off this big double. Watch, he pulls a tear off, looks over, and it looks like he lands too far.
Whoa.
Oh, he lands in a hole, and his right hand comes off the bars even. That could have been end of the championship for Ryan Villopoto if he went down. That section is so fast.
That is unbelievable. 99% of the time your right hand comes off the bars in a section like that, you go down. I can't believe Villopoto's still up. You gotta stay with us here live on Fuel TV. Dungey is going after Fasciati, Metcalfe, Barcia, Alessi in front of them. Long way to go. This is pretty exciting to watch. Stay with us.
I've been doing this for 15.
But what has been a wild race so far just got wilder, and perhaps it's fitting that the wild child is now your leader. While we were away at break, Justin Barcia took the lead from Mike Alessi. And Barcia would be one rider you do not want to be in a championship picture as a spoiler, because he does not care about anything except winning races in his own right.
Yeah, and the fast lap time has been about a 2:15, 2:14 even. Barcia turned that 2:13.5. And he came by, I'm like, wow, that was flying. But it was also Villopoto, 2:13.6. So Villopoto and Barcia, fastest riders on the track.
Let's send it down to Aaron Bates with more on Barcia. Aaron?
Factory Honda's team manager, Eric Kehoe, told me right before the start that Barcia is on a roll today. He knows that he's going to be good today. And here was the proof. Not only was he third fastest overall in practice, but he was late coming down to the line. And the reason being, Eric Kehoe caught him doing his hair in the mirror. So he was more concerned about his hair and how it looked in the helmet, so he knows today is going to be a good day.
Good hair day. Man, you're working up on the right side of the bed. He's in good condition right now. Yeah. We'll see how it looks when the helmet comes off at the end of this one. And Dungey, Villopoto is still battling. Looks like Villopoto's up to third, Dungey in fourth, but they're nearly 7 seconds behind this man. So you figure Dungey would try to win the moto and go after maximum points, but he's got some work to do. Would have to get Alessi and Villopoto and Barcia to do it.
Yeah, Dungey, no matter what, he's got to finish in front of Villopoto to kind of keep the momentum going, right, and to have things going. But it's been an interesting ride for all these riders, and no more interesting than this one right here. Watch as Villopoto comes down the inside. Now he's already made the pass on Dungey, and this turn, it really slows down right through there and gets a big hook.
Man, that's not as big a mistake as we saw through there the last time around, but it really shows on this track how deceptive it can be as Villopoto goes after his good buddy, Mike Alessi. I think Villopoto probably pretty happy right now that nowadays it seems like they pretty much buried the hatchet, but back when these two were 13, 14 years old, the amateur ranks, it was a bitter feud. And Alessi used to get the better of Villopoto in a lot of those races. Ever since it's turned around in Villopoto's direction, it seems like things have quieted down a bit. But either way, Villopoto's going to have to deal with Alessi here if he wants to keep moving forward and hold on to this points lead.
Villopoto's really got some great lines. He just backed up last lap again with another 2:13, but then Dungey was able to match it. So the real deal here is that Villopoto manages to make his way past Alessi, and if for any reason that Dungey gets hooked up, the urgency is going to set in for the reigning champ, Dungey. It's, this is it. Villopoto's putting on a strong ride, though, and no reason that he shouldn't. I mean, he really has been fantastic this summer.
Still can't get around Alessi with Dungey back there watching and working him on the inside. And right behind Dungey is Metcalfe. Not sure what happened to the 24. Of course, he is Dungey's teammate, so you figure he wants to help Dungey in any way he can. These three are really tightening up, Jeff.
And the fans are loving the action right here as Villopoto. Oh, that was close. But look how you can try these really wide outside lines.
Oh, Dungey makes the move. That wide outside line did not work for Villopoto that time.
Oh, Dungey comes up way short, misses the berm. Villopoto back in front.
What is going on here? I've seen more mistakes from Dungey and Villopoto in this moto than we have seen the last couple of races combined. And in the backdrop, you got Alessi and Metcalfe right around them. Barcia pulling away. Man.
And that is just, that's just been Dungey's season, right? He does something good, and then, you know, he takes a step forward, and then something happens, and he goes back a couple steps. He's been fighting it all season. That momentum and that swing, right? He just can't get it to go his way.
Yeah, well, to give you an idea, Dungey looked like he might have had a share of the points lead. Well, he had a share of the points lead early. Lost it when his bike couldn't get to the finish line in Texas. He came within 1 point of Villopoto. Nearly got that points lead back after Washougal. And then Villopoto opened it up again. So he's never quite been able to get back into that #1 spot.
Yeah, I believe it was 2 races in a row. They were locked up with about 1 point difference.
Right. There goes Villopoto again, now working Alessi. And Alessi holds him off. And as they continue to battle, it's only going to allow Barcia to get further and further away. Alessi holds up Villopoto a bit in that corner.
I can tell you, for the 2 title contenders to have to race through the pack in this situation,
yes.
and all of the close calls that there's been, I mean, there's so much pressure on these guys, you know, to win this title, and to be able to manage that, and the mental strength that these guys have is just exceptional.
Alessi is giving Villopoto all he can handle and more. Every time you think, you know, he's going for the championship, maybe Alessi will give him a little room, he doesn't, and finally Villopoto locks down that second place spot. But Alessi, he was not giving any room at all, nor should he. They're all racing for themselves. He wants podium position. He doesn't want to just hand spots over. Dungey's going to go right through, though, much more easily than Villopoto did.
Yeah, but it took these riders a long time to make this pass, and that shows you that Alessi had a little better ride than what he's had. He's been off the pace a little bit this year. Definitely hadn't got the starts that he had in the rest of his career, where he pretty much started first just about every time he lined up, or at least it seemed that way. But still a pretty strong ride for the KTM rider, and definitely looks positive for the future.
So Villopoto up to the #2 spot, Dungey 3rd. That'll push Alessi to 4th, Metcalfe in 5th. Reed, who went down in the first turn, is up to 17th. So one rider now lies in front of Villopoto and Dungey. It's Justin Barcia, and his lead is 8.16 seconds. He actually continues to pull away a bit from this battle. How will Dungey play it? Will he go after Villopoto? Will he maybe even try to rough him up a little bit? That's certainly not Dungey's style, but championship's on the line, folks. Anything can happen. Welcome back to Fuel TV's live coverage of the finale of the Luke DeSoyle AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Let's get back in touch with our one to watch. That's Colton Fasciotti, the Canadian, coming down here visiting in the U.S. and doing a great job right now, running in 8th on the Luke DeSoyle Troy Lee Designs Honda. And it's been a big adaptation for him to go from racing in Canada to down here in the U.S. Earlier, we had a chance to talk to Colton about some of the differences between racing in his homeland and here.
The biggest difference between racing in the U.S. and Canada is definitely there's a lot more faster guys down here. There's probably 20 fast guys, and in Canada there's probably the top 3 guys are fast. So just trying to get in the mix with these guys, and they really sprint off the bat. So I'm just trying to get used to it and have fun out there.
And he's also had to adapt to a different bike. Rides a Yamaha in Canada and has switched over to the Honda now in these last couple of rounds. And the Lucas Oil Troy Lee team pretty happy with the performance, putting it inside the top 10. That's where they want him to be.
Yeah, that's when he mentioned getting used to the intensity and the speed right off the bat. That's something that is very, you know, U.S. The riders on the Grand Prix circuit, when they come here, they make a lot of the same comments. Like, you don't just kind of settle in and, okay, you know, a couple laps in, now we'll kind of pick it up. It's the drop of the gate, drop the hammer, go wide open as hard as you can go. That's the style of racing here in the U.S., and that's exactly what Barcia has done. But is he starting to fizzle out a little bit, because Villopoto has now closed it from just 8-second gap a couple laps ago. Now it's down to a 4-second gap, and that's because Barcia was down at 2:15 and Villopoto at 2:12.8, the fastest lap of the moto.
Well, one scenario I don't think we were counting on here was that Villopoto was simply going to get away from Dungey and add more points to his lead. but it just might happen. You see the countdown clock top of the screen. 8 minutes, 42 seconds, and 2 laps left in this race. And about 3 seconds between Villopoto in second and Dungey in third. So Dungey's going to have to reach down now and find something special, or he's going to be even further back heading into our final moto.
Yeah, and Dungey, I mean, he's turning a great lap time at 2:13.6. I mean, that's second fastest on the track, and he's been consistently there. But the thing that's going to be frustrating for him is seeing that green number 2 start to get smaller in the distance, right? That's a tough one to take when you're trying to gain those championship points.
Well, Dungey still does know that anything can happen in the finale, and no rider, though, knows it better than Trey Canard, who won this championship in the 250 class in dramatic fashion last year. Trey's here this weekend, and Aaron Bates has caught up to him. Aaron?
Pala is a very special racetrack for Trey Canard. Not only did he race his very last 250 race, but also you won your championship here. Trey, you're watching what's unfolding in front of us. What are your thoughts on the madness of this championship right now between Ryan Dungey and Ryan Villopoto?
I think it's been an awesome year. You know, those two have really gone at it. You know, with Chad having a couple of bad races, it's really opened it up for those two guys. So, I know, I think Villopoto's got the upper hand right now, but I don't know. You never know what can happen. You know, last year for me was a really roller coaster day, so you never know until it's over.
Anything can happen. It's far from over. Good to see you back cheering on, cribbling around on those crutches, but looking good.
Yeah, Trey only raced with us twice this year. Came back at Millville from a broken leg, and then at Washougal crashed and re-broke it. Good to see him walking around. Got a little help from the crutches there, but I saw him yesterday, and he was only walking a shorter distance, and he didn't need the crutches. He's pretty much up on his own 2 feet.
So taking a look at the 17 here, replacement rider for Team Honda, Justin Barcia, still has the lead. We've got about 7 minutes plus 2 laps, but that may seem like eternity because the current points leader, Ryan Villopoto, is on the move. About 3 seconds a lap faster last time around.
More tough luck for the 5:39 of Ricky Dietrich. This is the way his series has gone the second half. Started the year out brilliantly with a top 5 in Texas, Freestone, but has had a rough go of it ever since. Back to your battle for the lead. Barcia, who is on Trey Canard's bike. That is exactly the bike Trey Canard rode. Hasn't even asked for a change in the settings, and he's leading Villopoto. Big talk, big sports, big tunes, daily habit. Wildest late night party on television. Weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. You can bet they'll be talking about this race as Barcia tries to hold off Villopoto. They pulled away a bit from Dungey. I guess at this point, Villopoto doesn't even think about championship. He's going for a win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You just have to stay in the mode, right? Stay in that zone and just keep business as usual. And you know, if you stay focused like that and your intensity is up, less likely to think about anything other than, you know, getting to the checkered flag and riding your motorcycle. It's when you let your intensity down, your concentration down, and then your mind starts to wander. And look at this track like this here today. I mean, you have got to be 100% focused on this, because this track can definitely reach up and bite you. Villopoto knows that. From that close call he had at about the halfway point, where that could have been the end of the championship right there.
And with Trey Canard on earlier, we were alluding to that roller coaster ride that he had at this race last year. He was in the 250 class. He was second in points. It looked like Christophe Pourcel had it in the bag until he crashed all by himself. So this track, Jeff, you talked about it before, it's deceptive. It looks softer than it is in spots, and the dirt pulls the bike down into the ground. Talk about how unforgiving this course is.
Yeah, there's a couple of cushions starting to get formed up in some of the outsides here, but both riders have been riding dramatically different lines. You know, Barcia seems like he's riding some insides here, some outsides there, and Villopoto is definitely not following him, okay? But he's got to keep the intensity up, and once he gets close right here, he's got to make it happen. He can't, you know, give Barcia a chance, you know, at all. If he's going to make a pass, he's got to go for it and be really aggressive, and somewhere in there try to be safe, you know, in the process.
Yeah, it's a lot to do at once. He's going to work his way down to the inside. Barcia going to try to rail the outside. Villopoto's got it covered. Barcia has one more chance to fight back. He'll be on the outside again. And Villopoto's got him covered. Ryan Villopoto into the lead.
That was a smart pass right there. He just really was aggressive. He set that up a couple of turns earlier, knew that if he's going to make a pass, he's going to have to take a little bit of roost off the back of Barcia's bike. But certainly he would know, okay, I've got my line. I know that if I charge down there to the inside and I'm good on the brakes, I can make this stick.
What a stretch here for Villopoto in the second half of this race. After some big mistakes early, he has really settled down. Was 8 seconds in back of Barcia, caught him, passed him, also pulled away from Dungey while he was at it. This is a championship ride.
It is. He looks great. He is moving right now.
Moving away from the pack, for sure. And there's his mechanic, Mike Williamson. They know it's not over yet. Battle continues here at Pala, the final round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Live coverage here on Fuel TV. Justin Barcia on the number 17, trying to hold off the number 1 of Ryan Dungey. It's a battle for second. You see the countdown clock at the top of your screen. I think they're going to get to the finish line before that clock expires. There should be 3 laps to go in this race. They won't bring out the 2-lap card until that clock is complete, and they just crossed the finish line.
Barcia putting in a fantastic ride right now and just trying to hold his line and get the best finish that he can. You can see right there Barcia running high up into the cushion now that it's developed. And Dungey, whoa!
Nice move by Dungey into the lead. Did you see that one coming or no?
That's like slicing and dicing. The cushion was too wide, and that's when the dirt gets all pushed off in those first and second turn area because they till it up for the start. Makes a nice smooth lines there, but Dungey, okay, so now he's up to second.
Running out of time though, with 3 laps to go and about a 4-second gap to Villopoto. Dungey really got to let it all hang out here. He cannot afford to let Villopoto put 3 more points on him. And here is Villopoto in the lead on the Monster Kawasaki. Rockstar Makita Suzuki, Dungey in second, and Barcia back there in third on the Honda. Remember, his championship may have changed in 1 corner. Dungey had some great momentum after a great ride at Southwick, led the entire race in our first moto a week ago in Pennsylvania into the last turn when Villopoto took it away from him, and that seemed to turn the tables. Villopoto went out and dominated the second moto last week and has come back to continue that run here in the first moto. There's the gap between the 2 and the 1.
I think Dungey may have a little speed this lap here. It was about 5 seconds. He was about 5 seconds off of Villopoto last time around, but it seems like Dungey has really dropped the hammer now. You see him shake his head right there. He looked up. Was he looking at Villopoto, seeing him 3, 4, 5 seconds out, just shaking his head, thinking, man, what do I have to do? I need to pass Villopoto and gain some points.
Barcia still there in third, hovering, taking advantage if either of these guys push each other so hard they might make a mistake. Still, he'd be happy to get that Honda up on the podium in the top 3. We're approaching 2 laps to go in this race. Dungey's got to get desperate now.
So Villopoto comes past the start-finish line about a second faster or slower than he was before. But Dungey actually quicker that lap by about half a second. But the gap is 4.5 seconds.
Little bit of lap traffic for Villopoto to deal with, but not a tremendous amount. He should be able to handle that. Yeah, it's 4.5 seconds the gap. It was 5.1. So Dungey is going a little bit quicker now. Something happened midway through the race to allow Villopoto to get away. I don't know if he turned it up or Dungey made a few errors. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he had some great lap times, drew some great lines on the track. But also, in this soil here, there's a couple of, sections. I've seen a couple of rocks popping up. I mean, maybe not quite as big as like a bowling ball, but softball size or a little bit bigger. And when you get into that soft area, that cushion I was talking about, sometimes you get in there, you don't see it because it's covered up by all that soil, all that soft, fluffy soil. But man, it's things like that that could totally derail this championship if one was to hit it wrong.
Yeah, for Dungey, one goal I'm sure would be just to make sure that Villopoto doesn't score enough points to wrap it up early, at least bring it down to the last moto of the year and increase your odds of some sort of bad luck unfolding. Certainly Dungey has had his fair share this year. Villopoto's been pretty darn clean. Worst race of the year was a 9th. in the first moto at Red Bud back on July 4th weekend, and that was after a massive crash on the first lap. He had parts hanging off of that bike the entire race. He managed to salvage 9th, which pays 12 points. He has a 14-point lead coming into this race. That shows how big each and every one of these little moments can be once you add it up at the end of 24 motos. Hey, we found Chad Reed up to 12th after crashing, coming through the first lap in last. Pretty impressive, although it looked like he might have been the early leader in this one. Who knows what might have been? Dungey needed riders to mix it up with Villopoto. Certainly Reed has the stuff to do it, but didn't have the opportunity. Lap and a half to go for Reed. Still digging down deep late into the year. Locked up third in the series. Can't move up to second. Can't fall back to fourth. Just riding for pride at this point.
Yeah, and earlier today in the very first qualifying practice, I mean, Reed looked like he had, you know, some intensity back again. And who knows what he could have done with that hole shot that he was on his way to here in Moto 1, I should say.
Watch Fuel TV's new original series, Strangers in Danger, where best friends and pro BMXers Mike Rooftop Escamilla and Zach Catfish Yankush are lightly packed and heavily insured, and they're on a mission to take on some of the most extreme, bizarre, and dangerous experiences around the globe. Strangers in Danger, Tuesdays at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific. That's on Fuel TV. Villopoto was in some danger earlier in this one. Second half of the race, he has settled down, but it looked pretty shaky early on when they were going through traffic and making big mistakes.
Yeah, these title contenders, they are working so hard out there right now, and it's been, I mean, this will be the 23rd moto of the championship, and it's interesting, you know, Villopoto had 3 motos that were off the podium, out of the top 3. He had a 4th, a 5th, and a 9th. And Dungey's only had 2 motos out of the top 3. I mean, that's pretty exceptional. Problem was that he had that DNF and a 7th. And that really set him back in points.
Yeah, DNF did not finish when he was leading in Texas, but that's all part of it. It's man versus machine versus each other.
Yeah, I mean, Dungey has had the opportunity one race ago with 4 motos left.
Right.
That if he could go out and win the motos and beat Villopoto in each moto and win it, the title would have been his. Okay, but right now Villopoto has done, you know, it's happened just the opposite. Villopoto, granted, if he can win this moto here with just a couple turns to go, that'll be 3 out of those 4.
Oh yeah, Villopoto and the Kawasaki team want none of that talk of gifts. When the chips were down and everyone had their opportunity to win, Villopoto this year, both here in the outdoor tour and indoors in Supercross, has taken the series by the throat by his own doing. Ryan Villopoto wins the first moto at Pala and takes another huge step toward a championship. Ryan Dungey not able to get him. He closed the gap to 3 seconds on the final lap. Too little, too late. Villopoto and his team are happy about this. We'll talk to them when we return.
Tennis.
Welcome back. Riders have gathered on the podium. Ryan Villopoto's got the first moto win and a further extension of his points lead. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates to talk with our winner.
He got the victory, but that one did not come easily. Ryan, a couple of sketchy moments out there. At one point, we saw your right hand off the bar. Take us through how wild of a ride that one was.
Man, me and Ryan really got pinched on the start. Chad came over on us really hard, and we were in the back. And man, it's dicey back there. You know, all those guys are fighting for a spot and a position to do well. And, you know, obviously myself, me and Ryan, we're both trying to stay out of trouble. So it gets a little hairball, and then when my hand slipped off the bar in the back there, that was a big moment. I even seen Ryan look over at me like, oh, is he going down? So, you know, we'll get the second moto done and hopefully wrap this thing up.
Championship is boiled down all the way to the final moto of the season, guys.
Yeah, it definitely is going right down to the end. Here are your results. That doesn't really tell you the story, though. Villopoto had some scary moments early, hangs on to take the win. Dungey is second. Marshall led a lot of this thing, ends up third. Alessi led some laps. He's fourth. The 3:30 of AJ Catanzaro is up front early. The 7:32 of Ty Hames finished a little bit further back, but shout out to those guys for riding well. Just outside the top 10 was Chad Reed, who was 12th. Just outside the top 20, top 30, some of the riders here who had some bad luck. Let's send it back down to Aaron.
It was a wild ride for both Ryans out there, that's for sure. Ryan, you've got a look on your face, stone cold, At this point, is it desperation mode? You throw it all on the line and basically just put your hands up in the air and let things fall?
I think just like we are, go out there and try to win races. And track's really a good one. It's pretty tough. Didn't get off to the best start. That really didn't help us out much, but felt good. Just really look forward to Moto 2, and we'll see what we can do. I think that all we can do is go out there and give it our best and let the rest fall into place, and we'll just take it as it goes.
Congratulations on a great battle.
And that battle will continue live tonight on Speed. We'll have the premiere of the Moto Inside the Outdoors after this, and then after that hour is complete switch over to Speed at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and continues at 8 p.m. with our Moto 2 coverage on Speed of this Traxxas Pala National. All day long live coverage. Let's send it back down to Aaron.
What an impressive ride for Justin Barcia. Justin, you had already got a moto win this season and 4 races into your 450 career. Take us through what it would mean to you to end this season off on a positive note after having a rough weekend last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I rode really hard out there. The start was pretty sketchy. I had to put on hard charts in the beginning to get around the guys. And, I just worked really hard that moto. I think I used a little bit too much energy in the beginning. Those guys held it together towards the end. And, I'll figure it out, but that was definitely fun and hope to be back on the podium the next moto.
It's good to have that kid there. Definitely keeps things interesting. Here's Villopoto talking to his trainer, Alden Baker, on the left. His team manager, Mike Fisher, there. They're ready for Moto 2.
I've been doing this for 15 years.
We're back. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship finale. Let's give you the highlights of the first 450 moto that we have just completed here. Ryan Villopoto came out on top with the win. He's happy now. But at the beginning of the moto, probably not quite as happy. Watch the start here, Jeff.
Yeah, Chad Reed cuts way over on all the title contenders and then falls in the first turn. And watch Dungey, their reigning champion. He goes over the top of Reed, but it would be bad starts for both riders.
Villopoto's hand comes off the bar. Landing from that jump almost goes down. Dungey takes a peek over. Then Villopoto actually races to get him back. They were battling each other as they came through traffic. Man, that was a sketchy moment for Villopoto. They had to get through Kyle Regal, AJ Catanzaro, Ty Hames, Brett Metcalfe. Yeah, back and forth they went.
Yeah, and then it was the mistake by Dungey there that gave Villopoto the spot pretty easy, and then he works his way past Barcia. Nice aggressive move here, and just an incredible effort for Ryan Villopoto.
Dungey would eventually get Barcia as well to take second, but Villopoto takes the win. Barcia third. Mike Alessi ran a good strong race to finish fourth. Brett Metcalfe was fifth. Chad Reed 12th. So here it is. A few more points. 17 now for Barcia. For Villopoto heading into the final moto. Dungey's going to need guys like Barcia or somebody like that to get in there and mix it up.
Yeah, Dungey's going to need a mistake by Villopoto, some sort of bad luck. I don't suspect that will happen.
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about I'd rather have the momentum than the points. Villopoto's got them both right now.
He's got them both.
So,
yeah, good point.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Fuel TV's not done with their coverage of motocross. Of course, we'll have highlights from this event Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, and the following Thursday, a full season-long highlight show, September 22nd, of what has been arguably the best, most competitive in the 40 years of this championship tour we have ever seen. So definitely don't miss the highlights of that. That does conclude an inaugural season of Fuel TV's live coverage of the series. So glad you folks are able to join us. It has really been cool hanging out with you every Saturday afternoon. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant, and make sure to check out Speed's coverage of the second motos coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific tonight as we crown our champion. And don't go anywhere on Fuel TV right now, because we will have the season premiere of the Moto Inside the Outdoors coming up next. So stay with us on Fuel TV. More motocross. Don't go anywhere.
One week ago at Steel City, Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Dean Wilson captured the 250 championship.
And now, your 2011 250 Motocross champion.
I'm not lying when I say this. This is a dream come true. I've literally slept and dreamed about this.
Wilson can now take his place among the greats that have won titles for the Pro Circuit team. The final round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is set to get underway from Pala Raceway.
We're just outside of San Diego, California for the grand finale of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Traxxas Pala National. Hello everyone, Jason Wagen, of course, joined by four-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig for what should be a great final round of the 250 class here on Speed. Dean Wilson has already wrapped up the championship, but his team still has some history on the line. They want to win all 12 rounds of this 12-round championship. They've won 11 so far. They're in good position to get it done.
Well, and it was a really intense start to the day. But I'm telling you, Dean Wilson, his confidence is there, his speed is there, his determination, everything is working just like it should. He has the momentum. He's going to be hard to beat.
Absolutely, and watch for his teammates, of course, Blake Baggett, Pala Raceway. They are still battling for second and third in the championship standings. As you see the points there, the 52-point gap, though, for Wilson is enough to wrap up the championship coming in. So no pressure on him, but that team does want to get 12 wins in 12 rounds. How good does Dean Wilson feel? Well, let's find out. We'll send it down to Aaron Bates for the Progressive Pre-Race Report with Dean Wilson.
Dreams come true for Dean Wilson last weekend when he clinched his very first 250 Motocross Championship. Dean, it has been 1 week. Has it sunk in yet, and how does it feel?
Yeah, it sunk in a little bit. I mean, like I said, it was a shame that my mom and dad weren't there at the race, but, you know, they're here this weekend, and I think it's going to sink in if I have a good day today. You know, my mom and dad and everybody, family and friends are here, so should be a good day, and it sunk in a little bit, but not too much. I think, like I said, after today will be good.
And congratulations to you once again. Dean Wilson, he dominated here 1 year ago, and he looks to do it again here in front of his family and friends today.
4 months ago, the season began at the Hangtown Classic in Sacramento. After 11 rounds and a tour of 10 states, the series comes back to California. Through it all, Jason, Jeff, and Aaron have brought you the action. One more time, the gate will drop, and the 40 fastest riders in the world will race to the checkered flag. Round 12 is next, when the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship returns to Pala Raceway.
Welcome back to Pala. It's the final round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Southern California, of course, the heart of motocross racing in the U.S., and these 250 riders have already completed their first moto today. We'll show you the highlights. Now, watch immediately off the start. One of those bizarre crashes you'll ever see. The 37 of Darren Durham up and over. The 20 of Brock Tickle. The 36 of Cole Seeley all down. Taking advantage of that, the 57 of Blake Baggett gets out front. He's got company, though, Jeff.
Dean Wilson here, the newly crowned champion, gets to the inside of Baggett, but this wouldn't be the end.
No,
of
for
their
about
friction.
15-20 minutes, Wilson would lead, then Baggett would catch back up, and they battled hard. Wilson was able to hold on and get the win, but Baggett was not too happy about some of the tactics that Wilson was using to hold him back. We didn't see anything that seemed that controversial, but Baggett wasn't happy. Wilson, well, he's happy. He's got a championship and now another moto win. That sets us up here for Moto 2. Why do we race two motos? Well, we'll show you with the 4-1-1 breakdown. We run two motos in each of our classes. Each race lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps, and we combine the scores from the 2 races to determine an overall winner for the day. So that's the way motocross races. What about the track? Well, we've talked to some of our top 250 riders about what they think of racing here in Southern California.
Pala was cool. It was a new track for last year. It was one of those that you had to make sure you was hanging on because it was going to take you for a ride.
The track's really cool. They have half the track, and it's kind of jumpy and weaves in and out.
You go to the top, and they got like down and up hills, and then they have that big double. The sun is actually pretty bad there for a couple of the jumps and hills for seeing, you know, because you got ruts again. You can't see the bottom of them.
I don't know, I just like the track. It's got some elevation changes, and it's just close to home, and that kind of does make a difference.
They always do a good job there. Even when we're out there practicing, they're always ripping it and putting a lot of water down.
Just being the last round of the year, you know, there's a lot of pressure on points leaders, and you want to get out of there with healthy and go home to a little vacation.
Let's check out the track map brought to you by Kawasaki and the all-new 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, off the start, you make a nice sweeping left and a right. That's going to sort everybody out. But the comments today is that this track is fast. maybe the fastest track ever. It just really opens up in some of these sections. Then you get into the hill sections, that big Lucas Oil tabletop jump. This is that step up and a step down, massive double jump right through here. 250 has to be wide open. Then the Huckabuckers, gnarly whoop section, couple of S-turns, couple of double jumps onto the finish.
It's what it looks like on board, Jeff.
Here you go. This massive tabletop, this Lucas Oil jump up over the top. And this is earlier today. Track was a little bit wetter, a little more moist, okay? Definitely smoother than what it was earlier. And this is one of the cool jumps here on the track as you jump down again. And here in the second moto, it's going to be rough all the way through. Track's dried out quite a bit. Actually, Gareth almost getting off the side of the track right there for a little bit. This is a pretty cool step up right there where you got to stop to try to hit the inside.
And they'll jump back downhill, back into the view of the spectators. Good footage there, courtesy of our GoPro Hero Cam. Let's check out the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com keys to the race, Jeff.
Well, it's, I tell you, obviously getting a good start. It's going to be really important here today. The track's going to be nasty. The sun has started to set to our left, so behind the riders. So when they're coming back down by the finish line, it's going to be a little bit of shadows on some of those steep jumps. And this is the last race of the year. Leave it all on the table, and I got a feeling the 57 here has got some extra motivation after Moto 1.
Yeah, he was very heated about racing with Dean Wilson. Now we'll explain why he has the red background on his plate. They are running the Motocross of Nations graphics and gear on their bikes. That's a team race that will take place in France next weekend, and Baggett is on the U.S. team. So a little preview of the red, white, and blue attire he'll be running, and that probably doesn't make Wilson too happy. Wilson has the red plate in the series because he's your series points leader and champion. They're going to let Baggett run red in this one. I think they might be seeing red if they run into each other in this moto.
Yeah, but hey, pride is on the line. These guys are going for it each and every time they get on the track. Card's going to go sideways in between 5 and 10 seconds. The gate will drop, and that'll be it. The final race of the year. Here we go.
We're in the midst of 2 hours of live coverage on speed. This is going to be good. Jimmy DeCoster in the 66, swooping through from the outside. He's going to grab the whole shot on the Geico Honda. He's got his teammate 891, Justin Bogle, right there with him.
Well, that's going to make 3 hole shots on the year for DeCoster.
Oh, and carnage there in the first turn. The 70 of Tevin Tapia is down. A whole bunch of riders. Good to see some of the other teams going in there and contributing to help some of the privateers get up. Meanwhile, I think that might be the 210 of Kyle Peters, who is only in his second pro race, who is up front.
Seems to be. Well, Bogle, he's another amateur graduate. Both of these riders, you know, experiencing their opening of their pro career here, so they've spent some time together.
Bogle trying to make the move on Peters. About a month ago, these guys were battling at the Amateur National Championship at Loretta Lynn's. Bogle takes the measure of Peters right now, moves into second. Then it's the 35 of Kyle Cunningham making moves. Just got around Alex Martin on the 46. Where are the Kawasaki's? Whoa! And Peters almost comes together with his teammate Cunningham. 210 in the 35.
Veteran and the rookie.
And now we've got one of the Kawasaki's in view. I believe it's Wilson on the green bike, trying to go forward.
Well, this is going to be a big opportunity here for Peters because in his pro debut, we really haven't seen much of it. And it really has been credited to his bad starts. Okay, he just hasn't put himself into position. So I'm really interested to see what this rookie has as far as speed right now. Not really concerned with his fitness so much right now as seeing if for the first 10 or 15 minutes how fast he can run.
And Cunningham keeps the heat on as the 66 of DeCoster leads Bogle. So that's 2 Hondas, 2 Yamahas, another Honda Martin, and then finally one of the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki's, Wilson, coming into view. Oh, and more riders down.
Morris.
71 of Morris. Man, we can take you through this and show you. I think that might be Tedder on the 583 down with him.
Oh, off the, oh, that's down the drop-off. So all the riders are coming down, and it's a blind section there.
Oh, and that's what happened. Just ran into the bike. They didn't run into each other. Ouch. So we were talking about that big double. You saw that on our GoPro helmet cam earlier. Bogle is now into the lead around DeCoster. So the kid, in just his 4th ever pro race, is out front. He's been getting better, amazingly enough, every week. And he started out really well. He was 5th at his first race at Unadilla, and it's been nothing but solid improvement since then. He's battling with Dean Wilson for the win last week in Pennsylvania, and is now leading with DeCoster, his teammate, in 2nd.
Hey, Bogle's been pretty strong, and if he can get out front and put down some fast laps, get a little distance on, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki guys who really have been the cream of the crop this season.
Yep.
He might have a chance to win the final moto of the year. What a way to go out.
Here's Wilson, who won that first moto. You saw the highlights earlier. He's beginning to pressure Kyle Cunningham as they're hovering around the top 5. And I believe they've both gotten around Peters on the 210. So that would be Cunningham in 3rd, Wilson in 4th, Peters back to 5th.
Jason, this track is really difficult right now. It's gotten really rough and choppy. And as opposed to last year, the riders said that the track was much more hard pack than last year. It was really soft and rutted. Not quite like that, but the good thing is that riders like Wilson, Cunningham, they spend so much time here in Southern California. They know what the track is like. Okay, they ride a lot of laps here on the practice days, and also Marvin Musquin is making his way up here, trying to get past Peters.
Yeah, that is a battle, 210 and 125. Musquin was 4th in the first moto. He was all over those 3 Kawasaki's out front. Now he's in front of a bunch of them.
Oh, he's got the momentum here, though.
Through the Huckabuck section, and they both managed to keep the bikes upright, but Marvin manipulates those jumps a little bit better than Peters and is able to take over the spot. And that should be top 5 for the Red Bull KTM rider. There goes Alex Martin trying to make a move now on Peters, and that's what you said Peters was up against. It's a lot different pace at the sharp end of the pack.
Yeah, things are happening pretty quick for him inside of his helmet there. So we'll see if he can stabilize it, possibly get a top 10 out of this. But, I mean, you've got Baggett, Tickle, Anderson, Rattray, Swanepoel, Tomac, and Sipes. I mean, some seriously fast guys that he's going to have to ward off. And he's still got 25 minutes plus 2 laps to do that.
Yeah, these are guys who have been up front week in and week out. They've got a lot of experience. Here is Wilson, now up to 3rd as he clears Cunningham and goes after DeCoster and Bogle. Geico Honda team, a mixed season for them. A year ago, they won. Another problem for the Rockstar Suzuki team. Davalos is out. They're working on the bike in the pits. Of course, we saw his teammate Morris down on lap 1.
Looks like the shift lever there, left foot area, is bent in. Now, if he hits something, it would wrap the shifter back. And it looked like for me when what they were doing, they were pushing on trying to straighten that back out.
And Morris, who was down earlier, by the way, that was Tyler Schoberg he came together with, not Tedder. Just want to correct that. Schoberg is back in the race. I don't believe Morris is. Here is your leader, Bogle.
I believe when we cut back to Bogle here that he was actually off the track there for a second. Wilson's in 3rd right now. Bogle cannot waste any time. He's got to put in the best laps of his career if he wants to win this moto.
Well, his career's pretty new. Best laps of his career? Might be able to do that. Will it be good enough to hold off Wilson and the rest of the guys that are going to be coming after him? Well, you'll have to just keep watching. A long way to go. You see the countdown clock, top of the screen. There's 23 minutes and 2 laps left in this moto. Yesterday at the Pala Mesa Resort, the Road to Recovery Foundation held their annual golf classic event, raised some money for injured riders. Not only does it help them defray the medical costs, yes, our own Jeff Emig was there, but the Road to Recovery also provides emotional and spiritual help if they should sustain a career-ending injury. So it's a cool way to hang out with the superstars of the sport and raise some money.
Formula One.
Full lessons learned the hard way on Dumbest Stuff on Wheels, Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Jeff Emig's favorite show.
It is awesome. I'm telling you, there's some, it hurts.
A little bit of an update here while we're waiting at break. Kyle Cunningham has made the move on the 66 of Jimmy DeCoster. There's Cunningham, and here comes Marvin Musquin looking to make moves on both of them.
Well, and the good ride out of that DNA Shred Sticks Yamaha team, Kyle Cunningham, he's in a points battle with Eli Tomac. Now, after Moto 1 here, how it all shook down, they're separated by 6 points. So Tomac is up 6 points on Cunningham coming into this final moto. Cunningham runs 3rd, Tomac is buried back at 12. I don't know exactly what those points are, but it definitely could change and put Cunningham into 4th overall for the series, which would be a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and that would be the first rider in the series not on a Kawasaki, as they had swept the top 3 spots. Let's talk a little bit about the Frenchman, the 2-time world champion coming over here to the U.S. now, Marvin Musquian, who's really found his stride. Great ride for 3rd last week at Steel City in Pennsylvania. Great ride for 4th in the first moto today, and he's looking for another good run in this one.
Yeah, definitely his confidence is back, and he looks better, you know, on the bike, a lot like at the start of the championship, where he's got this flow and this really, you know, efficient riding technique. I mean, this guy, he's got a great style. But when he came back from that injury, I mean, it just looked like he was fighting it. He just was not flowing, but he's got it now, Aaron.
That's exactly it, Bro. What you had just mentioned, he has been struggling ever since that injury. In fact, he's come back, he's making a strong comeback. He's finally got his confidence, he's got his groove back, but it has been in the back of his mind this entire time, and he openly admitted it. That's what was holding him back this season.
Yeah, definitely those injuries like that, they can really set you back, and to build that confidence, it's tough to do.
Here's a progressive whole shot replay.
And look on the right side of our screen, it was getting ugly there with Swanepoel. Looks like Baggett gets out of there all right. Tickle makes it through this one pretty clean, but a couple of those Geico Hondas getting the whole shot.
Unfortunately, the one Geico Honda, as a rider goes down on the outside, Tomac didn't get the start. And as you mentioned, he is in 12th right now. We'll try to keep tabs on the 19, but his teammate, Justin Bogle, continues to lead. Mechanic says fun and fast. He's trying to keep the kid loose, keep the pressure off, just have fun out there. Talked to Bogle earlier today. He said he actually was a little under the weather last week at Steel City, so he took this week off. He feels completely recovered and fresh, and he showed the speed to actually battle with Wilson early in that race. So if he has a little more endurance in the tank this time, maybe he can hold on and win it. There's Cunningham in 3rd, DeCoster in 4th. And next in the order, I believe, is going to be Baggett. I think Baggett, yeah, there he is. He has made the move on Musquian. So Baggett and Wilson had some heat after the first moto. Will they hook it up here in Moto 2?
Well, Baggett's going to have to close that gap right now. Wilson's about 4 seconds off the lead. Baggett's another 10 back from Wilson, so he's going to have to pick it up. But I'm pretty proud of DeCoster right here, putting in a pretty strong ride after that great start.
Aaron, give us the fight scorecard there. What went down between Baggett and Wilson after Moto 1?
Well, you guys, I think it's safe to say that as soon as they were on the mule with the management of Mitch Payton, things went mellow very, very quickly. But
okay.
No, when they got back to the rig, I guess there was a very stern talk that took place, and that kind of behavior is not going to be tolerated whatsoever. So there was definitely, the smack talk is finished. You'll see these guys respectful at the end of this moto, regardless of whatever happens if you're working under the tent of Mitch Payton.
They always ruin all the good drama. Meanwhile, Baggett, well, he's going to try to catch Wilson anyway. He goes after the 66 of DeCoster, and DeCoster's going to try to hold him off around the outside. Baggett has the pass made, so he's one position closer. That would essentially be your battle for the overall. Baggett needs to beat Wilson to win the overall with the 2 motos counting today. And looks like Musquian trying to close in on DeCoster right now. So lots of good battles all over the track. It's still early here on a very rough racetrack at Pala. Anything can happen, so stay with us. We're back at Pala Raceway just outside of San Diego, California, and the kids getting it done. Justin Bogle leads the way. And as we welcome new blood in the series of Bogle, we found one of our old friends trackside down with Aaron Bates. Aaron?
That's right, you guys. We found the 101 of Ben Townley. And Ben, the last time that we saw you race was actually here at Pala last year. A lot has gone on. You've been on the sidelines. But take us through what your thoughts are on this track, the championship that took place, and the drama that's unfolding under the Pro Circuit tent today.
Yeah, it's been a gnarly year. You know, these guys are close, this Pro Circuit team. It was kind of like that for me and Villopoto a few years back, and Mitch doesn't take that crap. You know, he runs a tight ship, and he gives everyone the same fair chance, so he doesn't like that going down. But it's turned out to be a good race. This sun is it's going to be tough out there for sure right now, and it's even going to get worse for the 450s later in the day. But right now, it's shaping up to be a good race with Bogle and Wilson for sure. These young kids, they can go.
What are your plans in the future? Are you planning on coming back to race in America?
I'm really not sure yet. I'm over here I took some time off to get into a better position for my body and just my overall well-being, and seems to be working out really well. I came over here to do some riding in California. I've been riding the last week or so. Mitch gave me a bike to ride, and it's going really well. And so, well, yeah, I don't know, actually. I'll take it as it comes right now, and we'll see what happens.
Ben, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
BT 101, I guess he summed it up better than anyone else could about what happens if the teammates start having problems with pro circuit truck. Mitch Payton shuts that down, I'll put it that way.
Well, right now, Bogle's trying to shut down the pro circuit guys right now. Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Peters is in the pits.
And Jeff, you said that would be the challenge, running up front there. It's a whole new experience. Unfortunately for him, not able to make it work, but he's already got a deal, I believe, with that team next year, so plenty of time. Doesn't have to impress in this moto. But Bogle sure is. We're into the final stretch here. Almost 20 minutes into a 30-minute and 2-lap moto, and he continues to hold Wilson at bay. Impressive ride by this kid.
It is, and what's going to be interesting here is what happens to him if Dean, which I presume he will. His lap times are definitely there. Wilson's just about half a second faster last time around. How is Bogle going to react? Is he going to make any big mistakes? Is he going to lose his cool, or is he going to keep his cool and run strong lines? Maybe he can hold him off to the finish. I don't know, but so far so good for the rookie Justin Bogle.
There's Wilson second, Cunningham still third, Baggett fourth, and Marvin Muscon is in fifth. Wilson won both motos of this race last year, won the first moto earlier today. He's essentially undefeated at this track. We'll see if he can get Bogle and keep that streak alive.
Well, and for Wilson and his mom and dad, Jackie and Andy, who were not able to be at the race last weekend when he won the title. They were on the road and they missed it. So a 1-1 here today, they'd be some proud parents, huh?
I think they already are. Yeah. But yeah, they want to see it in person. We'll drop back a little bit, try to show you the battle behind them. Here it is, Cunningham and Baggett. And Cunningham, like you said, trying to make up some points on Tomac to maybe take over fourth in the series.
And Jason, he's made up a lot of points because a couple laps ago, Tomac dropped all the way back to 18th. Okay, 18th would have been close to an 11-point gap. So right now, Cunningham, he looks like he's in the position to steal fourth in the championship away and be the first non-pro circuit rider. And that's a huge statement for this DNA Shred Sticks Star Racing Yamaha team. They've had a few great rides here and there, a couple of injuries, a couple of setbacks, but overall, it's been a big season for them.
Yeah, a lot of people consider it a two-horse race between Geico Honda and Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki in this 250 class, but this Yamaha team has definitely made its presence known this year. Cunningham has had great runs. Swanepoel won a moto. Ryan Sipes won a couple of Supercross races. Uh-oh, here comes Wilson closing the gap on Bogle.
Yeah, but you talk about needing to win. It's the Geico Honda team, because like you said, this was kind of shaping up okay. We got these two powerhouse teams in Supercross lights. Pro Circuit won the West, Geico Honda won the East, and it really looked like Barsha and Tomac would be two of the guys to beat.
Yeah, Tomac was so close to that Supercross title. It was a great season for him that just the team just couldn't replicate it outdoors.
Yeah, so this is a shot of adrenaline here for this Honda team, and definitely great to see a rookie being able to step right in and run this sort of pace. Because like I said, I'm more focused on his speed and how he reacts mentally over I am the fitness, because you can always build the fitness.
Well, he is definitely not wilted mentally under the pressure from Wilson. The gap has been pretty stable. A little mistake there. So far, so good. Justin Bogle trying to take his first career pro moto victory. Got a change for the lead here. Dean Wilson has gotten around the 891 of Justin Bogle. But Bogle did a great job trying to hold the relative veteran off. Here's the pass, Jeff.
Watch Wilson. He's already set up. He knows exactly what he wants to do. Perfect on the brakes. No mistakes. Get that left foot out. Leans the bike over. Hammers the throttle. Not even close. Wilson draws the shorter line and has more speed. And let's see if Bogle can hang with him. But Wilson, once again, is doing that massive jump at the end of the Huckabuckers. That long whoop section. Wilson has got the line once again. he's the only rider that I've seen do that in that sequence. So we'll see if next lap around, see if he's still using that line to his advantage. We got a little over 4 minutes plus 2 laps here in the season.
Well, it's been a great season for Dean Wilson, so certainly he's going to be a star here as we run down the top 5 moments of this 2011 250 Class Championship. Check it out.
Number 5, Privateer Darren Durham leads High Point.
So Pennsylvania's own Darren Durham in the lead. Yeah, it's like we showed our replay of the old school Tony D, Pennsylvania's own, winning this race. Durham's going to try to do the same.
The 1110 Mons Privateer would eventually race to a 4th place finish, but in the process, Double D turned heads and proved there are indeed some fast riders residing outside of the factory pits.
Number 4, the Chupacabra is born at High Point.
Baggett stayed in it on the outside. There he goes.
And he still makes the pass. So Blake Baggett takes the lead.
Number 3, Geico Honda riders struggle all season.
Eli Tomac, Will Hahn, Justin Barsha, and the rest of the Red Riders spent more time on the ground and in the medic tent than on the podium. A disappointing season for a team that won the title 1 year earlier.
Number 2, Pro Circuit dominates.
Through 11 rounds, the most successful team in the sport's history has won every overall and 21 out of 22 motos.
Number 1, Dean Wilson wins the 250 title at Steel City.
The likable Scotsman was a factor in the American Motocross Tour last year, but in 2011, it has really come together. He outpaced his 2 talented teammates, and with 2 wins and a 2.2 average moto finish, he's bringing the 250 championship back to Pro Circuit Kawasaki.
You know, Jeff, I see those highlights, and it really brings to light how much talent is in the ranks. Dean Wilson, I said before, he's relatively a veteran compared to Bogle, who has only raced 4 pro races. It's only Wilson's 2nd full pro season as well, throwing all the other great guys in the class, of course, his teammates. We mentioned the Geico Honda team. They've got a lot of talent under that tent. The DNA Shred 6-star Racing Yamaha team. You got Marvin Musquion on the KTM, and they're going to bring over Ken Roxon, another fast European next year. Look out. This 250 class is loaded 2012.
Yeah, you know that. And it's these young guys coming through. And what has been so great is when Dean Wilson wrapped up this title last year, that soundbite of him just saying, look, you know, I would go to sleep at night dreaming to be the AMA Motocross champion. And he's now living his dream. And, you know, you're going to have Ken Roxon over here next year trying to do the same thing as he's doing.
Man, it's going to be good. Wednesday night on Speed, My Ride Rules is all new. See 4 car fanatics face off in the wildest car competition ever. Don't miss an all-new episode of My Ride Rules Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
How do I get on that show? I'm going to get my van in there.
Does it rule?
Fix it.
That's the first
rocks.
part.
You know it does.
Okay, rocks, it rolls. Does it rule? Only one way to find out. Hey, you mentioned, sorry about that, you mentioned Bogle. Can he stay with Wilson? He did a pretty good job there. Think he learned something?
I think so, but right now he learned that Dean Wilson is virtually unbeatable because he's pulled out 4 seconds on him. Bogle just had a 220 that last time around, and Baggett's at a 217. So Bogle's got, you know, a little bit of time here, and he possibly could be second in this moto, but the Chupacabra still on the move.
Yeah, that's Baggett up to 3rd, and we'll see if he can maybe pick off Bogle by the end of this one. I don't think anyone's going to catch Wilson, though. He has done a phenomenal job looking to continue an undefeated streak for his team this year and an undefeated streak for himself at this track. Certainly he's had better luck than the kids learning how to pilot the Traxxas trucks. Those things got some horsepower. There we go. They're figuring it out. Stay with us here from Pala. Dean Wilson continues to lead.
The future of
the Soil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Checking out Blake Baggett there in the number 57. Going pretty fast in his dirt bike. He's up to 3rd here in this final race, but comparatively slow compared to what he did last week. 1 week ago, he actually, after a race in Pennsylvania, headed over to Baltimore and got a ride in an Indy car. Pretty cool situation here, the 2-seat ride. Yeah, that's some speed, a little bit faster than the bike can go. And we had a chance to talk to Blake about what this experience was like.
Yeah, my IndyCar race experience, I got to go to the Baltimore Grand Prix. I'm not even sure how many laps they did, but I got to ride in a 2-seat IndyCar, and that was pretty sick for sure. You got to like feel the course out and see how actually narrow it is, and get a feel for how fast they go compared to how fast we go, which is by far a lot faster. And it was really cool to see how many like G's you pull in the corner just by turning in. You know, you're like leaning against the outside. And all in all, it was a good experience. Got to watch the race. We stood right in the first turn, so that's where all the crashes were.
And he had some fun earlier in the year when he got a couple of wins. And I think at the halfway point, a lot of people thought Blake Baggett was the favorite for the championship. Dean Wilson definitely turned it around. Once Wilson went down to Florida and hung out with Chad Reed, he really upped his game. And we haven't quite seen the same edge, meanwhile, from Baggett over the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, well, there was a combination there. As Dean got it together, Baggett seemed to have a lot of misfortune. Just seemed like his starts were off. He wasn't putting himself in the right position. I mean, we wouldn't see him till the end of the motos. You know, this points race actually is fairly tight here for second and third between Baggett and Rattray.
Yeah, he's only 3 points down as they run right now. Rattray is in 5th. Baggett is 3rd in this race. Baggett could make up 2 points if he can catch Bogle, but he's still 6 seconds behind Bogle. I don't know if Baggett's going to get to do it. And Jeff, you know, there's a difference in bonus money, I'm sure, between 2nd and 3rd in the championship. So that's a lot on the line between those two.
Definitely could be a little bit of pride involved. You know, I wouldn't say bragging rights, but more pride at that point. But Rattray still hammering away.
Yeah, they've got the 125 of Musquian in between them. There is Rattray. Rattray shopping for a ride. He wants to race the 450 class next year outdoors, but he's relatively new to Supercross racing, so he wants to race a 250 in the lights class in Supercross and then race a big bike outdoors. There aren't many teams that run a program like that. Usually you race either a 250 all year or a 450 all year, but Rattray, solid season this year. I've heard there's quite a bit of interest, whatever class he wants to ride. There's a couple teams that would like to get him. He's definitely a proven winner and champion as well. But the champion this year is Dean Wilson. What a way to cap this off.
Took a look over his left shoulder, just wants to see exactly where Bogle is at, because you know Dino here, he can have a little fun on this last lap over that big Lucas Oil tabletop and that double coming back towards the finish. I guarantee we're going to see the drain plug more than once.
Well, I want to touch on that. Last week, after he won the title, I said to Dean, you know, what's the difference? He's stepped up since he became a pro. He was really good as an amateur, but he's been great as a pro. A lot of times, you know, the guys say you got to put in the hard work, or it's the dedication, you know, not getting distracted with all the elements outside. What's funny, he said the opposite. He said what he had to learn was don't overdo it. A lot of riders turn pro and think, well, now I need to ride 3 40-minute motos every day. He feels the more fun he has, the more he is backed down, the better he has gotten.
There you go. Oh,
there's
that was
Jake
hot.
Weimer. Think he's having fun?
Yeah, he's having fun, and you find, you know, I think most of the riders, I mean, for the most part, the riders that are coming through are conditioned for the hard work. I think that we're kind of past that laziness mode that certain riders had. Okay, so they all know that there's some hard work to do, but you get into an overtraining situation, and that actually works in a negative effect too. But he has found the right formula for him, and he knows what works. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to whip it off this big double right here. This thing's wide open on your 250.
There you go. Look at that.
That was hot. That was awesome.
Oh, well said. I didn't even know he had that in the bag of tricks, and all of a sudden at Unadilla, he started throwing out these whips, and he started winning races, and he started having more fun, and he started winning even more, and then he won the championship, and now he's going to sweep both motos last week in Pennsylvania and sweep both motos here. This guy is building a full head of steam, not just toward the end of this championship, but setting a tone for the next couple. You want to win in the 250 class, you're going to have to go through the 15 of Dean Wilson, who will wear the #1 next year. He's your champion and your winner. Dean Wilson sweeps it here at Pala. And Justin Bogle throwing out a old school heel clicker over the finish line jump. He charged hard all the way to the end because he did not want Baggett to get him for second, and he gets the job done. Baggett is going to finish third. Here comes Rattray. He's got his teammate Brock Tickle right behind him. Marvin Musquian, the Marvin attack, is going to take fourth. Rattray fifth. Sixth is going to go to Tickle, and I believe that will be enough for Rattray to just barely hold off Baggett for second in the series standings.
Yeah, and it looks like Kyle Cunningham on the Yamaha dropped back to 8th. Tomac on the last lap was still running 12th, so Might put the Honda rider, Tomac, up into 4th overall for the championship.
Yeah, that's one of those rides that will go almost unnoticed. Tomac with a 12th, but he had to dig that one out. So good run by Tomac down the stretch. Of course, great run for Wilson, who takes the win. Bogle, he's got to be just as happy finishing 2nd. Not bad for a new kid. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Jeff Emig. This is the all-new 2012 KX4.
Site of the final round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. You're watching 2 straight hours of live coverage on Speed, our 450 title showdown coming up right after this. Wednesday night, the car show is all new as Adam and the boys take a crash course in stunt driving. And then Dan goes old school as he gets behind the wheel of a legendary vintage racer. Don't miss the car show Wednesday nights, 10 Eastern only on Speed. So our final 250 moto is complete. Let's give you the Lucas Oil race recap in that one and show you how Dean Wilson emerged with the win. Seems like the start here has been crazy. It's like guys battling off the line of scrimmage here, bumping and banging around. The 66 of Jimmy DeCoster is going to get the whole shot, and he had his teammate 891, Justin Bogle, right behind him. Watch this on the first lap, big crash. 71 of Ryan Morris is down, as well as Tyler Schoberg, who runs into his bike. Ouch. Meanwhile, Bogle would take the lead from DeCoster and would hold it to the 25-minute mark of this moto, and finally Wilson would find an inside line to take the lead from the rookie. These guys are pretty good friends on and off the track, so no trouble there at racing together. They even congratulate each other on finishing 1st and 2nd. We'll show you the results. 3rd went to Baggett. Bogle really had to hustle down the stretch as Baggett was charging hard to try to get him. Came up just a few seconds short. Musquian ends up in 4th. Frenchman, Rattray in 5th. Tickle, Swanepoel, Cunningham, Anderson, and Martin round out your top 10. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates.
Dean Wilson undefeated here at Pala. Dean, you came in, it was all for pride. You had that championship all wrapped up, but your family was back there, very emotional. Did this win, was it for them today?
Oh, it was for sure for them. You know, first of all, I was pushing hard to get that win, and then that one, terrible start. I had to come through the pack, and so pumped for my buddy Justin Bogle. He's doing so good, and it's cool. You know, we were out front. You know, it's just like the old days, so it was cool. And you know, I just couldn't do it without the whole team: Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Scott, Bands, Volcom, the Dirt Sharks here, Larkin, my mom and dad. Big shout out to TwoTwo Motorsports for my nice truck. Everybody, this is just like the greatest year of my life, and thank you so much.
You can see the emotion. It's all kicked in all right now. Dean Wilson, the celebration is on.
Well, the motocross season is nearly a wrap, but plenty of great racing coming up on Speed. Of course, Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship kicks off January 7th at Anaheim. That's a live broadcast on Speed. You see the arrow? That's a lot of live television coming up. And don't forget the Monster Energy Cup. $1 million on the line in a one-night-only showdown in Vegas on October 15th. Dean Wilson, by the way, will race a 450 there. That should be fun to watch. Let's send it back down to Aaron.
Such an amazing season for Blake Baggett, but Blake, you've got the look of disappointment right now written all over your face. This isn't exactly how you wanted to go down at the end of the season, I take it?
No, definitely not. I had some highs of the season, I had some lows, and just haven't been able to get it done lately. But my team's been there: Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Parts Unlimited, Advanced, Volcom, Traxxas, SoCal Super Trucks, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, my trainer, Alden Baker. Just everybody's been helping me, and just been struggling a little bit. So try to hold it down for Team USA and in France and see what we can do. I mean, just kind of ran out of time, and starts have been my greatest thing. But I'll go back and study the videos, and hopefully we can change that before we fly out to France Monday, so I don't got much time.
Best of luck. A hard charge all season long for Blake Baggett.
Here is the overall when we calculate both motos. Bogle had a 10th in moto number 1, so that dropped him back to 5th when we combine them both. Look who's on a podium for the 2nd straight race. Marvin Musquian, good job.
Attacks.
All right, let's send it back down to Aaron.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but Marvin, this track suited your style ever since the moment you got here. How much fun were you having today, and what does it mean, 2 in a row, the icing on the cake for the season?
I had a lot of fun for sure. It's California, it's Pala Raceway. I used to ride training here, and the track was awesome. I had a lot of fun. So again, my bike was awesome, and my KTM, Red Bull, and my style was not really good today, but my speed was good and my condition also good. So yeah, third overall again like last week, Steel City. So it's good, and thanks to Red Bull KTM team. They did a great job for me, and all my sponsors, Oakley, Aero, Lead Base, Alpine Star. Thank you.
Congratulations on finishing off the season strong.
Let's show you the final season standings. You will not see Musquin in the top 10 because he missed a lot of races with injury. You have to wonder where he would have ended up if he were there all year. And Rattray, there you go, edges Baggett by just 3 points, and Tomac edges Cunningham by 3. Great racing throughout this very competitive 250 class. All right, can't wait till next year. Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing with Speed Motorcycle text alerts powered by Yamaha. Get the latest motor racing results and breaking news as soon as they become available, sent right to your phone. Text MOTO, MOTO, to Speed, then a number 3 for the alerts right now. Let's send it back down to Aaron.
What an impressive ride for Justin Vogel. Justin, rookie coming in, but you didn't ride like one today. Take us through the feeling of leading those first 10 laps.
It was awesome. I got a Jimmy D hole shot, got around him, and I just led for about 25 minutes. I got pretty nervous, I'll be honest. So saw Dino behind me, he was catching me. We went 1-2 though. It was fun throwing whips over the big jump, so it was cool.
It's a learning curve, but he is a quick learner.
All right, it's all smiles right now in this 250 class, but it is going to get real serious right after this. Our 450 final moto of the year. That championship yet to be decided. Ryan Dungey, Ryan Villopoto, one last showdown, Jeff.
Yeah, but for Dean Wilson, led the most laps, 11 wins out of 24 motos, 3 overalls out of 12. He's a new champ.
Yeah, he's going to be a tough customer. Meanwhile, the Ryans, one last race in the 450 class coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere. History is about to be made.
One week ago, Ryan Dungey was dominating Moto 1 at Steel City when points leader Ryan Villopoto began a charge at the white flag. The rest is motocross history.
Now Villopoto's on the right side where he was on the left earlier. He's going to go for it and take the lead and the win in the last corner.
1 week later, Ryan Dungey is down to his final chance to repeat as 450 champion. It's Dungey versus Villopoto as round 12 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is set to get underway from Pala Raceway.
From sunny Southern California, it's the grand finale of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Traxxas Pala National in the 450 class. Let's give you the big picture storylines we're following here at round 12 of 12. Ryan Dungey has had some disappointments this year. He has been unable to get the kind of momentum that led him to a championship a year ago. It started when he looked to have a win in hand at Freestone in Texas, and the bike stopped running late in the race. More trouble as he was trying to rebound to the points a few weeks ago in Massachusetts. Could not get the bike to the starting line, finished 7th. And then last week at Steel City, leading down to the last turn of the last lap until Ryan Villopoto pulled off a clutch pass. But he is still mathematically in contention for the title. It's 2 riders battling for 1 championship, Dungey versus Villopoto. But Villopoto scored valuable momentum and a few more points earlier today. Let's check out the highlights of the first moto already complete. Chad Reed of the 22 gets bumped off the start, cuts over on your championship contenders, but then goes down himself.
Yeah, it didn't take long to get this highlight reel started. Didn't even make it through the first turn, but it was Alessi out front with the start. But watch this. Big mistake by Ryan Villopoto. Hand comes off, he cartwheels. That could have been, meant the title, but he comes back strong on Dungey.
Yeah, here he is, gonna make the pass. They're battling with each other through traffic after the bad start. Then Dungey gets Villopoto back, and then Dungey makes a mistake, and Villopoto goes by him again.
Villopoto, he was on the attack. He had Barcia in his sights. This is the move for the lead, and that is a huge statement by the points leader.
Late in the race, Dungey's able to catch Barcia as well. He'll get 2 championship points back by moving up from 3rd to 2nd, but no time left to catch Villopoto, who wins the first moto and further extends his points lead. All right, Jeff, in many ways, that first moto summed up Ryan Dungey's whole season. He's had great flashes, great moments, but every time it seems like he's about to make the big move, Villopoto's able to return fire on him.
Yeah, and for the reigning champion, Ryan Dungey, the disappointments came from the issues with the bike. but the frustrating moments are what is in his control and the rides. Remember, with 4 races, 4 motos to go in this championship, mathematically, he could control his own destiny if he won the last 4. He hasn't been able to do that. Villopoto has won 3 of those 4, so still 1 left to go, and he's got a small chance to win this title, but the window is closing.
Absolutely, and that means Ryan Villopoto and the Monster Energy Kawasaki team are feeling that much better. And for proof of that, we have Aaron Bates down in the Kawasaki pits for a progressive pre-race report.
We come down to the final moto of the season, and Ryan Villopoto now has a 17-point advantage. Ryan, what are your thoughts as you head into this?
I mean, just get through the second moto, but you know, I need to go out there and ride to win, and try to stay out of trouble. You know, I didn't get the greatest of starts, and it was pretty crazy first half of the moto.
There's some wild riding going on out there. How challenging is this track?
The track it's probably one of the most high-speed tracks I've ever raced, and it makes it tough. A lot of square edge and a lot of scary moments. So it's a white knuckling for 30+2.
After 11 rounds and 23 motos, it all comes down to this. 30 minutes plus 2 laps from Pala Raceway. Jason, Jeff, and Aaron will have the bar-to-bar action when the gate drops on the final moto of the 450 season. Don't go away. The 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship rolls on right after the break.
Every rider is measured by victory.
It has all boiled down to this, not just the season, but a lifetime, really, for the 2 Ryans who have been fighting toward this goal. Ryan Dungey did win the championship last year. That only seemed to fire up Ryan Villopoto more, and it has turned out to basically deliver one of the best championship fights we've ever seen, and it is not over yet. Let's show you the battlegrounds for this championship fight with our track map brought to you by Kawasaki and the all-new 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready.
One final track map here, Pala Raceway, Southern California. A left and a right off the start. That's going to slim down the field, and then the track's really going to open up. You heard that comment from Villopoto. He said this is one of the fastest tracks ever. Then you hit the hills. Massive Lucas Oil tabletop, up and down through the Rockstar section. Step up, step back down, massive double, and just get into those high gears. Of course, the Huckabuckers. This is a fast whoop section, and double-double into the finish.
All right, let's show you what it looks like with our GoPro Hero Cam on board, Jeff.
Yeah, this is Nick Way, Valley Motorsports, Rockstar Yamaha. This is earlier today. You can see why the tracks have been in such great shape, because Mother Nature gave us some cloud coverage. It was actually a little chilly early on in the morning, but the track is in maybe the best condition that I have ever seen it. And today we are just set up for one fantastic final moto here for this 450 championship. This is the premier title in all of motocross, and Dungey is trying to repeat, and the 2 of Ryan Villopoto is trying to take it away.
All right, that's what the track looks like on the map. That's what it looks like on board. Let's see what the riders think about racing at this place.
Pala was definitely one of the tracks last year that surprised me. You know, they really impressed me as far as the track layout. The dirt was really good, the maintenance. It was just an all-around fun track. It just seemed like no matter where you were on the track, you were having fun, enjoying it.
It got real rough, it got real hot. Obviously the track conditions changed from first moto, second moto, which was really good.
The dirt isn't your normal dirt. You know, Southern California dirt is just, it's its own kind of animal, you know, it's just, it's quite different.
Pala is a gnarly track. You know, last year it was big, you know, the track was just kind of on steroids a little bit, you know, how big the jumps were and the hills were and steepness to them.
You know, for everyone, it's almost a home event, you know, for the manufacturers, for most of the teams that are in the area.
You know, that's a crazy track for sure. It's kind of man-made. They build a lot of big jumps. It gets really bumpy and rough, and the ruts are insane there. You drag your shrouds right off through the big ruts.
To finish it off at home is an awesome feeling, so can't wait to get to that home leg and ride one of the best tracks in the world.
All right, that's the track. Let's break down the players. 2 riders, 1 title. Ryan Dungey versus Ryan Villopoto. Jeff, give us the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com keys to the race. What do the Ryans need to do?
Well, here we go. Villopoto, he needs to get a good start and not make any mistakes. It was a little sketchy there in the first moto. Dungey, it's clear, unless he wins, and he's 17 points down. Okay, he needs the full 25 points and hope that Lady Luck takes a final swing in his direction so he can keep his #1 plate. Because remember, Villopoto has already taken that Supercross title, going for the double here with 1 race left to go.
Yeah, make no mistake. This is what Ryan Villopoto 1 year ago was focused on. Ryan Dungey took the title. Villopoto was on the couch with a broken leg. And that was a big injury, one that a lot of riders don't bounce back from 100%. But he was so focused on getting back to this level and getting this title back. He is now 1 30-minute and 2-lap moto away from getting it done. But we bring it up. Last year we had a similar championship scenario in the 250 class with Trey Canard and Christophe Pourcel. Pourcel had the points, but he crashed out, handed the title over to Canard. And Villopoto had some scary moments in the first moto earlier today, so anything can happen. Check out what happened to Villopoto early in Moto 1.
Yeah, watch him land over this double. Hand comes off, and this is a fast section. Dungey even looked back to see, hey, did he keep that thing on 2 wheels? It was a couple of sketchy moments, he admitted. But the difference between that 250 title last year between Pourcel and Trey Canard is that one rider had the momentum, the other one had the points lead. I feel that Villopoto has both. It's all going in his direction, unless, like I said, unless there's some big, massive turn of events, you know, there's a good chance that he's going to lock this down. Also, because Villopoto, throughout his career, has always been able to handle the pressure well. This guy, in the biggest situations, gets it done.
Yeah, this is the final moto of 24. This is game 7 on the motocross end, and everything they have worked for all year long could either go right or go wrong, depending on what happens as soon as this gate drops. And Villopoto and Dungey both know it. They've both done a pretty good job of trying to pretend that there's not as much on the line as there actually is, but they can't deny it now. It is all come down to this. And they all funnel down to the inside. Dungey and Villopoto almost come together. Chad Reed gonna emerge out front. I believe that's Justin Brayton with him on the Yamaha.
Villopoto around 5th, it looks like it. And this is the start Chad Reed was looking for the first moto when he went down in the first turn.
Mike Alessi running a line off the side of the track, tries to get around Jake Weimer, who goes down. And Dungey got held up by Weimer's down bike. That was incidental, by the way, but Dungey now has a long way to go. He's about mid-pack out of this 40-rider field, as Chad Reed and Justin Brayton are up front early. Reed is taking the lead from Brayton.
That'd be Barsha setting in 3rd. Another good start. He's already locked down some hole shots here on the 450. Looks like Regal's up there along with Les Smith.
And the 108, Jimmy Albertson. And there are the title contenders. Dungey walking the tightrope there, trying to make passes. Ooh, that was close. And not able to get around Albertson. Well, this again is a situation that Dungey would probably prefer. Instead of the two being out front all by themselves, Colton Fasciotti on the Lucas Oil Troy Honda is out. That's the Canadian.
Yeah, that's in the first turn area, and we have an Australian, Michael Byrne. He has not had a good day whatsoever. Look, he's putting his goggles back on, so it looks like he will remount.
So this is a scenario for Dungey and Villopoto, the same type of things that have unfolded there for Byrne and Fasciotti. Dungey has to hope that some similar bad luck gets in the way of Villopoto, and when you're running in traffic like this, the odds are increased that may happen. Dungey makes the pass on Albertson on the 108. Villopoto trying to follow him through.
Yeah, Villopoto makes his way by, but I'm telling you, it's really uncharacteristic for two title contenders that are at such a high intensity level to 2 races in a row to get such bad starts.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
They are in the danger zone right now. They're trying to make passes while they race each other. And certainly this track's got to be a lot different than it was in the first moto. So they're trying to adapt to that all at once. How many different things can happen in one lap of a motocross race? Oh, and Villopoto almost runs it in on Dungey.
Well, Dungey tried that wide line, but the cushion, and there was just nothing there for him to bounce off of and get the Suzuki turn to the right. But Dungey pulling tear-offs. You see the yellow flag. There must be some riders down, still in that first turn area.
They are 8th and 9th right now, early on. So not the scenario that Villopoto wants. But he did overcome this in the first moto, but it was close. A couple of big mistakes while trying to make moves. They're actually battling the number 30 of Kyle Regal in that race. They have to deal with him again. Les Smith in front of them. Then it's Alessi in 5th, Metcalfe 4th, Barsha 3rd, Brayton 2nd, Chad Reed in the lead. This is high drama right now in California. And to add pressure, Jeff, you know what this is like. Southern California is the heart of motocross in the United States. All the teams, all the sponsors are pretty much based in this area. So they've got all the eyes watching them right now, and that can make life difficult.
There's no doubt about that. And Les Smith on that JGR Muscle Milk Toyota bike. Uh-oh, Dungey's off the track.
Woo! Oh,
gets back on in a safe area. He did not make a pass. Well,
he makes it
by
now.
There.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough call. The situation, Jeff, as you alluded to, you can't gain an advantage if you get back off in a similar position to where you get back on in a similar position to where you went off the track. You're safe. And that was very close for Dungey.
Yeah, this is over that massive Lucas Oil jump there. Dungey gets forced to his left. See him off in the dust, and he cuts right back on in a clean area. But then he actually gets up the hill clean, as opposed to Regal. Regal gives up the position.
Wow, and the craziest part is the big mistakes that Dungey and Villopoto have had in this race. The other rider has been able to get a front row seat to most of it. Dungey saw Villopoto's big mistakes in Moto 1. Villopoto just saw Dungey go off the track as Villopoto makes a pass on Regal. Now Dungey going after Smith. A lot going on here. Smith able to get back in front of Dungey and hold him off for the moment. Dungey trying to go to the inside.
There
Good
he
move by
goes.
Dungey.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing is when these the two title contenders are so close. You know, you make the pass on a guy like Smith there. You kind of want to get by him clean. Like, you don't want to punt the guy. You want to make it harder for the rider behind you to get past him, right?
Good strategy.
Yeah, for Dungey, it's just all about, at this point, just trying to get to that #1 position. He's worked his way up to 6th now. Reed is out front running a 2:15, fastest laps of the moto.
Aaron, what are you hearing on the #1?
Mike Gosler, Ryan Dungey's mechanic, had told me all day long they've been going back and forth, trying new things, testing out different things, new tires. He just hasn't quite been comfortable all day long, but Mike Gosler has definitely put in his hours today.
Yeah, and remember last week they were so close in the first moto in Pennsylvania, and in the second moto, Villopoto got away, and Dungey said they made some changes to the bike that didn't quite work. These two are so evenly matched. Little changes here or there have made a big difference as momentum seems to swing back and forth week after week.
Yeah, and you can tell Nico Izzy's down.
Tough ride for him. Only his second race on the 450 with a new ride at Valley Motorsports. What are you going to say there, Jeff?
Yeah, with Dungey and Mike Gosler, let's take a look at this replay here first, left of your screen. Oh, Izzy gets a little kick there. Huckabuck coming into the first turn area as you're trying to get the rear wheel kind of slid out. Looks like he hit something and almost kind of high-sided him.
You get a good idea of the speed these guys are carrying on that track when you see how hard they hit the ground when it all stops.
Okay, so back to Dungey here.
Yes.
I really have had the feeling that between Gosler and all the technicians on Suzuki and Dungey, they've been searching all year long. And I bet that if you asked Mike Williamson and Mike Fisher and everybody at Kawasaki, they'd say, no, kind of kept stuff, at least since they've gone to that 2012 bike, kind of just kept it like it is. Very small changes, but Suzuki's, they've been searching. They've been trying to find something, and it just hasn't been coming together for him.
Oh, he's making moves right now. He's going after Mike Alessi and just blows past him. Dungey, well, he's feeling it right now. He knows he has to go to the front. The pressure is on. He's responding to it right now. But every time he makes a pass, Villopoto is right behind trying to do the same thing. Fantastic championship scenario unfolding here at Pala.
Each week, Ford.
Right on speed, the dumbest stuff on wheels is back with an all-new cringe-inducing episode. See more painful lessons learned the hard way on Dumbest Stuff on Wheels, Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Chad Reed continues to lead the way here at Pala. A bit of a comeback for Reed, who led the series standings for a great majority of this championship. But then it all came unglued when he literally came unglued from his motorcycle. Well, I guess not literally. He's not actually glued on. Anyway, he came off the bike, crashed hard, has been unable to recover and find that edge. He has found it again today as he leads Justin Barcia, Justin Brayton, Metcalfe. Whoa, Metcalfe. Watch out for Michael Byrne getting back on the track. This is your battle for third behind Barcia, Brayton on the 10, Metcalfe on the 24, and you're probably saying, where's Villopoto? Where's Dungey? They're not going to come through until 5th and 6th.
Here's Metcalfe to the inside on Brayton if he gets the little traction.
Oh. No! Brayton barely able to hold him off. That was full commitment from Brayton to the outside, hoping that Metcalfe couldn't get the line. Battling again.
Look at how chewed up that section is. One of my favorite sections on the track here.
Man, Metcalfe really working for this pass. And Brayton again able to beat him in the inside. Side by side downhill. And finally Metcalfe makes it happen.
Metcalfe with the 5th in the first moto.
Riding better here in Moto 2 for sure. Let's send it down to Aaron.
Brett Metcalfe doing an amazing job out there today. His late season charge is continuing. He said he's just getting in his rhythm now. He doesn't want the season to end, but this week they tested a new shock, and obviously it's paying off for him here today at Pala with a 5th in Moto number 1, currently sitting in that 4th place position.
Says a lot about the commitment to the team. It's the end of the year, and you know they certainly are focused also on Dungey trying to get this championship, but that's pretty good. The team still puts big effort in for Metcalfe. Really doesn't have anything to gain or lose in the championship. He's locked into 4th, but this team comes to win no matter who the rider is and no matter who the race is or where they're racing.
Well, and Metcalfe already signed on the Suzuki team for next year, so obviously just every step of the way you're trying to make things better.
There is Dungey, and he's got Villopoto still right behind him. A little bit different look on the bikes and the gear for Dungey and Villopoto in this one. They're actually debuting their team gear as they will represent the United States next weekend in an international race in France, the Motocross of Nations. They'll have to work together as teammates for the American squad after this dramatic championship fight. Hope they can mend those fences real fast.
Yeah, I'm sure that these riders are, you know, I mean, these are mature men here. They're going to be able to put that behind them, but the Motocross of Nations is always interesting with the younger riders, like the 250 riders. So I think we're going to see a little bit of sparks fly in that division.
Here's Dungey working on Brayton. We just had a graphic at the top of the screen. If it ended like this, Dungey would still be 16 points down on Villopoto. Villopoto would win the title. Dungey still trying to move forward and grab as many points as possible. Brayton riding the wide bike just like he did dealing with Metcalfe.
I'll tell you, look at the lines these guys are drawing. They are all over the track. Now, they've actually worked on the track in certain spots, like on this uphill here, but this downhill, they did nothing to it. When you land there, it's got a massive kick. Of course, they didn't do anything to this uphill.
No, it looks pretty gnarly. Here goes Dungey down to the inside. Gets it done. So that's one more position for Dungey. A 2-point gap there. He'll make up 2 more points. Making that move on Brayton. It's still not going to be enough. He needs something bad to happen to Villopoto. And in any other season, you would think, well, that's not going to happen. But this has been a crazy year. Until this checkered flag is out, we're not sure what's going to happen. Don't worry, this was earlier in the day when we put the Lucas Oil trucks out onto the track. They kept the fans entertained, as is this race. Jake up here at Pala, a new leader. Justin Barcia had closed the gap on Chad Reed while we were away. And then Reed, well, made a mistake. Jeff, take us through it.
He makes it easy. This is a great way, if you're Justin Barcia, to take the lead. Just Reed makes a little mistake, slides down, hands it over to Barcia. That's put Barcia in the right moto combination, the finish order. He could be your overall winner.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, he got 3rd in Moto 1, and the first Moto winner, Villopoto, is in 4th. So at the moment, I believe this would be enough for Barcia to get the overall win, but a long way to go. Feels like we've been racing forever, but we're only just past the halfway point in this one. What has also happened is a Reed losing some ground with that little tip over. Here comes Dungey, and here comes Villopoto challenging the 22. Now, Jeff, as we move further forward in the order, each pass is worth more points. When you're outside of the top 5, there's only 1 point between each position, but now we're inside the top 5 at Dungey, so each pass is worth a little bit more.
Yeah, 20th position, you get 1 point. and it continues to go by 1 point all the way up to 5th place. Then you jump by 2, and then the gap from 2nd to 1st is a 3-point gap. So 25 to win, 22-20 inside of the top 3 there. So it's going to get tight. It's going to get dicey. If Villopoto wants to notch another win, with Barsha winning this moto, he's going to need to come all the way up to 2nd, because a tie in points, the better finish in the 2nd moto breaks that tie.
Dungey all over Reed now in a battle for 2nd. We'll see if Reed is willing to push to the edge and try to hold him off. He takes a look over his shoulder. Not sure what Reed's trying to figure out there. We know Reed has the speed to run with the Ryans, but to do it, you've got to push to the absolute limit. Reed had really worked on that in the early part of the year and was doing a good job of it. Locked down 4 wins and the points lead early, but after one big crash, he has not quite been the same rider. We know the potential is there. Here's Reed's opportunity to show it. See if he can hold off Dungey and Villopoto for 2nd. And if he does, that could shake up the overall and maybe give the win for the afternoon to Barsha. Try to find someone who would have predicted Justin Barsha would win a 450 race before this year was up. He wasn't even in this class.
Yeah, I mean, he stepped up to the 450 to kind of switch things up, kind of get off of the 250, help Team Honda out on the big bike class here. But Barsha actually has already won a moto. 2nd moto at Southwick, so you know late in the day he's still got it. But he hasn't won the overall. And as they sit right now, if the race ended right now, he would have it.
Yeah, look at the top of the screen. That's your event points. Barsha has 2 points over Villopoto at the moment. And even if they tie on points, the better finish in the 2nd moto is the tiebreaker. So we could be looking at a first ever career win in this class for Barsha. Amidst the championship drama and a great battle right now between Reed and Dungey, this is a phenomenal way to end what has been an epic 2011 season. Let's show you the progressive whole shot replay, show you how Reed and Barsha got out front early.
Once again, it was dicey. Riders were locking bars. Everyone's trying to make their way to the inside, which is our right. You see Dungey just clipping the back of Villopoto's bike, and it was that Toyota Muscle Milk Yamaha bike there, Justin Brayton, he was all by himself. Perfect execution.
Well, exactly the way we hoped it would come down at the finale at Pala. The 3 riders who won the races this year are battling it out. Reed, Dungey, Villopoto, one last time. Welcome back. Phenomenal racing out here at Pala. Ryan Dungey has now made the move on Chad Reed for 2nd. And Ryan Villopoto trying to get by Chad Reed to go into 3rd, but Reed has been very aggressive today. He wants to prove that he still has the stuff to run with the Ryans, and he is not making it easy on Villopoto. And these 3 riders, Dungey, Reed, Villopoto, have presented such great racing this year, and as you can see, they are going to be some of the main players as we run you through our top 5 moments of the 2011 Tour.
Number 5. Brett Metcalfe wins his first career overall at Southwick.
8 years here in the U.S. trying to get a win, and this is incredible. You know, after last year's heartbreak, this makes up for it.
Number 4. Justin Barsha wins a moto at Southwick.
The wild child's expected title run in the 250 class never materialized, but as a replacement rider for American Honda, the 19-year-old has 1 overall podium and a moto win at Southwick in the 450 class.
Justin Barsha wins his first ever 450 moto here at Southwick.
Number 3. Ryan Dungey battles disappointment.
Ryan Dungey has a big lead here late in the 2nd moto, but he is slowing dramatically and I believe coming to a stop. Jeff Emming, it's over.
The 25 points Dungey lost at Freestone put him in a huge hole, but he had almost climbed out of it when the series headed to Southwick. When Moto 2 began, the defending champ was on the line without a bike. His Suzuki showed up just in time, and Dungey's ride from 40th to 7th kept him in the championship hunt.
Number 2. Ryan Villopoto's last turn pass on Ryan Dungey at Steel City.
Now Villopoto's on the right side where he was on the left earlier. He's going to go for it and take the lead and the win in the last corner.
Number 1. Chad Reed flies at Millville.
At the season's halfway point, TwoTwo Motorsports Honda rider Chad Reed held a 16-point advantage in the point standings over Ryan Villopoto. His 4 overall wins led the series, and he looked to continue his march toward a second title with a Moto 1 win at round 7 in Millville, Minnesota. Reed's season took an unexpected turn for the worse on lap 1 of the second moto of the day.
And off, he is fired up here in the number 22.
Oh! Reed launches! We got trouble! Chad Reed is down and down hard! It has been an unbelievable season, and it is not over yet. Who would have thought that Justin Barcia would have a shot at an overall win on a 450 before this year was over? What else can happen this year?
And I don't know, but this is a great ride here, and what an indicator of what Justin Barcia is capable of when he does make a full commitment to the 450 championship, which is predicted to be 2013, not 2012, correct?
Well, he has a Supercross title on a small bike, so he's got to defend that indoors next year, but man, it is going to be hard, I think, to keep this kid off the big bike when we start this motocross championship next year. Obviously, he's got the stuff to win races, or maybe even a title. He has been strong just about every time he's lined up on this machine.
Yeah, well, one step, you know, he's won a moto. Now he's trying to win his second moto and the overall. You never know, his confidence is high on this bike, and this bike has been a pretty successful bike. They've had a couple issues this season, you know, issues with Reed, issues at Southwick in the first moto for Barcia, but overall, Team Honda has worked really hard to build the riders' confidence in their bike, and what a statement it would be to have Barcia go out with a win.
And as Barcia continues to lead, Dungey continues to scratch and claw for maximum points. He needs to run down Barcia to just keep the pressure on Villopoto. 3 minutes and 2 laps remain in this race, and Dungey is down by 4 seconds on Barcia. Meanwhile, Villopoto has gotten around Reed to go into third, but one mistake from Villopoto or any kind of problem with the bike, this whole season could go up in smoke for the number 2. Here's how Villopoto passed Reed for third.
Well, watch right here. Villopoto just gets over that right-handed roller, and there's a little double-double right there. Just carried a little momentum and took third away from Chad Reed.
Well, Jeff, you've talked about it year after year. We're in this situation. Again, Reed has the speed to race the Ryans, but with that championship intensity, these two have gone to another level.
Yeah, they certainly have, and that's the level that Chad Reed was at before Millville. He was spectacular. But I would say that today, for Chad Reed, definitely a good indicator of, you know, of what he can do in the future, and that he's putting that behind him.
Oh yeah, he'll be back next year for sure to race these guys again. Here's Villopoto. Certainly a tough situation to come through traffic with all that is on the line today, but he has done it. He's up to third. Reed is fourth, and fellow Australian for Reed, Brett Metcalfe, is in the number 5 position. And there's Metty. He's not letting Reed off the hook.
That's some motivation right there to finish in front of your fellow countrymen.
And they will be teammates on that Motocross Nations team. Next week, they'll be taking on Dungey and Villopoto. So that's your top 5. Probably not a surprise there. These have been the fast 5 guys to the latter stages of this race. But how will it end? Will Villopoto hang on? Can Dungey catch Barcia? Will Barcia break through for his first ever win? These kids were enjoying the RC trucks and tracks earlier, but I guarantee you they are at the fences watching this battle on the track right now. We're back at Pala. Ryan Villopoto trying to put the finishing touches on a championship. Wednesday night, car show is all new as Adam Carolla and the boys take a crash course in stunt driving, and Dan goes old school as he gets behind the wheel of a legendary vintage racer. Don't miss the car show Wednesday night at 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Ryan Villopoto is in third place, only a few laps away from a huge championship. Meanwhile, Aaron Bates is down on the side of the track with a very interested observer. Aaron?
That's right, an interested observer and probably #1 Ryan Villopoto fan. I'm standing here with Ryan Villopoto's grandpa, Fred Villopoto. You have been a huge supporter of Ryan. The moment has come, you're a couple of laps away. What has been the feeling all day long?
I've been a nervous wreck all day long, and now I'm very proud of him. I'm just thrilled.
This is only the third race that you were able to make it to this season, but you're here for the icing on the cake, a championship. You've got to be a very proud grandparent. Is there going to be a big celebration tonight if this goes down?
Yes, there is. We've got a big dinner planned, and I can't wait to hug them.
Well, we'll let you go. I know you got to get down there. Celebration is on. Grandpa Fred Villopoto has been nervous all day long.
And he's ready to eat, ready to lock this title down, because think about all of the years and all of the effort and the sacrifice and everything put in at the amateur level to the whole family unit sacrifices, and it moves all around the country racing motocross and all that, and then now to be at the top step, right? This is it, creme de la creme, premier championship in all of motocross. 2 more laps to go, he could lock it down.
Barcia now has heat from Dungey. This is a battle what would not only be the moto win, but the overall as well. Now a lap and a half for Barcia to try to hold off Dungey, so this season just won't quit. It's going to bring us a great battle all the way down to the final lap. Let's see if Dungey can make the move on Barcia, or if Barcia can keep that wide motorcycle in front of Dungey and hold him off.
Here we go. The track is really tricky at this point. It's, the shadows are starting to cast over the backside of some of these jumps. The track, of course, is just beat up. It's really taxing the body. It's taxing the mind. Of course, the motorcycle is right now, everything's heated up, and this is where all the hard work counts, right? And so for Dungey, it might be a little bittersweet, but still would like to go out on top. Second in Moto 1, first in this moto. Be a nice way to win the overall here and in this season, which is, it's had its disappointments. It's been frustrating for him at times, but Dungey has not given up. That's just not, here we go.
Goes to the inside.
Huckabuckers.
Oh, Barcia had that bike left, right, swap in every direction, still holds on. Here's where Dungey made the pass on Reed, and he goes by Barcia. Barcia's gonna try to get him back. Gonna switch from outside to inside. 1 lap to go. Does Barcia have any tricks left up his sleeve? He has led pretty much every lap of this thing. He had to get around Reed early. And now with 1 to go, Dungey has stolen it from him.
They crossed the line. That was a 2:17 for Dungey. He was flying. Barcia was a 2:19. Everyone else is a 2:20 or higher. Villopoto now, who sets in third. This is it, the last lap for him, and he will be your champion. He's about 15 seconds off of Dungey, so you can tell here now in the final race of the season, he's going to be very content with a 3rd place in this moto.
Well, hey, Jeff, you talked about this at the beginning of the show with the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com keys to the race.
Well, both riders have, so far, have executed the keys here, but it's just going to be, too little for Dungey. It's just been too many things happen this season that were out of his control. There's been a couple of motos that he wishes he had back, and he's been tested this season as champion, and this is it. It could be the last ride with the #1 plate here for a few months, but I'll tell you what, Dungey has kept his cool and he's kept trying, and he hasn't given up, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he never blamed the team. In fact, he gave them credit for getting that bike running after it had some trouble at Southwick, and that was key for Dungey. The story is that he will probably not be racing for Suzuki next year. A lot of rumors he might be linked up with KTM to join his old boss Roger DeCoster, but what Dungey did, he never showed a crack in the foundation. He never made it look like there was any chaos or drama with that team. He kept his head in the game all the way through. He's going to come up just short, but still a great season for him. As for Villopoto, what can you say? Bouncing back from 2 years of catastrophic injuries that might have ended it for someone, but Villopoto has made a career out of bouncing back, and this could be the culmination.
Yeah, but I mean, think about Dungey. It's like you talk about, or it has like a negative tone. This is going to be, if he can win this thing, this is going to be a 4th overall of the season. I mean, it's been close. It's been a pretty good season by most people's standards, but when you're the #1 guy, the standard, it's all the way at the top. It's championship or nothing.
Well, by the standards of the sport, it has been an awesome season to watch. Ryan Dungey knows it's over now. He's going to win here at Pala. but will probably come up a few points short of defending his championship as we wait for Ryan Villopoto, who a year ago could barely even walk. He was on the couch with a broken ankle, a broken tib and fib in his lower leg. He has come all the way back to win the Supercross title, and now the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Unbelievable season for him and his team. And like I said, this guy, he's been down before, but he is relentless. Even early in this championship tour, a lot of questions. A lot of people thought he looked like he had overtrained. It looked like he didn't have the bike working the way he wanted. Reed and Dungey were getting away from him. They never gave up. They stayed focused. And down the stretch, there's no doubt he was the man in this series.
Every rider is measured by victory, determination, and heart. But the spoils go to those who can back it up with proof.
For 3 straight seasons, Ryan Villopoto was the best 250 rider in the world. He captured the AMA title from 2006 to 2008. He won the Motocross of Nations in 2007 and 2008. But when Villopoto's 450 career began, so did a rash of injuries that kept him from challenging for a championship in the Premier class. He won the opening round at Glen Helen in 2009, but his season ended a week later at Hangtown. In 2010, while competing with rival Ryan Dungey for a Supercross title, he crashed hard, breaking his leg and missing the entire outdoor campaign. These setbacks only made him stronger. Villopoto came into 2011 determined to be the rider everyone thought he could become. He earned his first 450 title inside the stadiums and has led the championship points since round 7 at Millville. After 2 years on the sidelines, Ryan Villopoto has authored one of the greatest comeback stories in the history of American motocross, and he has given Kawasaki their 11th 450 crown.
It's time to celebrate here at Pala. Ryan Villopoto has done it in what you could argue was the most competitive and the most compelling championship battle in the history of this sport. He has come out on top. Let's give you the Lucas Oil race recap of this final race of the year. Show you how Villopoto locked down a title and Ryan Dungey locked down a victory. Early in the race, they both had bad starts. Dungey went off the track.
Yeah, he manages to get back on, make some passes and work his way to the front. But it was Chad Reed that was out front, makes the mistake, slides down there, hands the lead to Justin Barsha, who was on his way to his first overall.
But Dungey was powered on. He needed to get championship points. First, he goes past Reed. Reed's going to try to leap over Dungey, but Dungey keeps the power to the ground, gets past Reed, passes Barsha with 2 laps to go, wins the moto. He did everything he could to win the title. Barsha second, and Villopoto's 3rd place finish is enough to lock down the championship. His team greets him at the finish. Here are your results in the final moto of the year. So many storylines there when you look at those 5 riders that topped it. Brayton, Alessi, Regal, Smith, and Jimmy Albertson round out the top 10. So Dungey wins the overall. Normally he'd be pumped on that, but he won't be super pumped today because he knows he's going to have to hand that #1 plate over to Villopoto. And for that, we're going to send it down to the podium with Aaron Bates, who has our champion.
It took blood, sweat, and tears to take home this 450 Motocross Championship and to present the honors of the #1 plate, Kevin Crowther with the AMA.
Thank you, Aaron. Ryan, congratulations to you and your team on a great season. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the American Motorcyclists Association and MX Sports Pro Racing to present you with the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Racing 450 Motocross Championship #1 plate. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Congratulations. Ryan, everything you possibly imagined, a dream come true for you right now. You have been so focused all season long. You did exactly what you set out to do and take home this championship, but all along you had said you owe this to your team. What does it mean to pay this to them?
I mean, it's huge. You know, we started off this outdoor season way behind, and it was up and down. It's the most up and down outdoors I've ever had, or season. So, you know, I just can't thank everybody at Monster Energy Kawasaki. This is huge. You know, it's been a hell of a year. Like I said, everybody that's helped me, every single person, I just can't thank them enough. And, you know, it's time to go to Motocross of Nations and let's bring it home.
Congratulations on all your success.
What's that like, Jeff? You've been there.
That's a nice feeling with that ocean of fans out there.
Hey, it's the heart of motocross, and he wins it in front of them here in California. Congratulations. We'll have more when we return.
On an all-new episode of The Car Show. It's driver's ed for the big boys as we rip up an evasive driving course.
Wins.
I've been pushing so hard. Just one more race to win.
The layout